Hey, Pardon My Take listeners, you can find every episode on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. On today's Pardon My Take, we have a twofer for the people. We have Kirk Herbstreit talking college football, national title game, also opt-outs and all the controversy that wasn't really controversy over the weekend. We also have Chicago Bear tight end Jimmy Graham talking about his career, talking about being nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. Awesome interview with him. We have recap of Monday Night Football, Big Ben's last game in Pittsburgh until next year. And then Hot Seat Cool Throne and Guys on Chicks. Great Wednesday show for you. It's brought to you by our friends at Sling TV. Go to sling.com/barstool to sign up now. Get your first month starting at $10. If you love watching live sports but you're tired of high prices, it's time to take control of your TV experience. It's time you got Sling. Sling is the place where your favorite sports channels like ESPN, FS1, TNT, and more all together for less. And it is the cheapest way to get the best NFL viewing experience on TV. NFL Red Zone. With Sling Blue Plus Sports Extra Package, you get Red Zone, NFL Network, and more for only $21 a month. Plus, you can watch episodes of PMT, The Axe, Stool Streams, exclusive new Barstool content for free on the Barstool Sports channel on Sling. Also, the Brandon Walker College Football Show presented by Brandon Walker. He's not a narcissist. Sign up now and get your first month for just $10. Whatever you're into, Sling is where you can get live sports you love all in one place. Go to sling.com/barstool to sign up now. Get your first month starting at $10. Sling.com/barstool right now to sign up and get your first month starting at $10. Okay, let's go.
Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh, we gonna rock down to Electric.
It's Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports.
Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by Sling TV. Go to sling.com/barstool to sign up now and get your first month starting at just $10. Today is Wednesday, January 5th. And Big Ben has played his last game in Pittsburgh.
Not necessarily true, according to Antonio Brown, who revealed on an Instagram live stream yesterday that he wouldn't put past Big Ben to come back next year.
No, it was actually on a cameo.
It was on a cameo,
yes,
yeah.
It was on a cameo, even better.
He went gremlin mode on Big Ben's career and said he's not done. No, but it was...
Let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment and let it all soak in.
Touching.
Big fat Big Ben's face with the teary eyes.
He kept his helmet on.
They were Ben-tastic years. That was one of the signs.
I actually don't think he could take his helmet off. I think his face had swollen up during the game.
Yeah, his post-game interview where he spoke into his mouthpiece.
Yeah, and then when he was walking into the tunnel with his family,
his beautiful wife.
Daddy's still a football player, guys. Daddy's a football player.
It's sad. 17, 18 years?
18 years.
It
was a long time.
Gold.
I mean, just think about everything that's happened in those 18 years.
Black and yellow. I said black and gold.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
He put on that cape. That black and yellow cape for us.
For the last time.
Question mark? We couldn't fix him.
He couldn't fix himself.
Yeah, the doctors couldn't fix him.
Big Ben tried.
What a scene. And the best part was the game was just objectively terrible.
Well, Big Ben had one of a kind, like literally an all-time passing performance in the game, a historical passing performance. He's the first starting quarterback to win a game with 40-plus pass attempts and fewer than 150 passing yards.
Oh, beautiful.
Since quarterback starts were first track beginning in 1950. Starting quarterbacks were combined 0-13 with those numbers entering yesterday. That's brought to you by, we'll just say Pardon My Take, Stats and Info.
That was, it was, he went out with a win. He went out with a win.
On a shield.
And I really, really hope deep down he just shows up to training camp next year and he's like, "What? Wait, what? I was just joking. Like, I wasn't serious. I'm still Steeler."
It would be so funny if he did that next year, and then we all think back like, wait, but we already did. We used our goodbye on
Right.
you last year. I would be fine with it. I'd be perfectly happy to do this every year in Week 17 for the foreseeable future if it meant that Big Ben kept playing.
Just a Monday night game late in the season when he could maybe go to every team and just do a goodbye for every city.
It was nice seeing him like celebrate at the end. It was very funny though. Right after the game was over, and they tried to give him a second curtain call by calling a timeout when he took that knee.
Yeah,
there was still a couple seconds left. Tomlin tried to call the timeout, but the reporters were already on the field, so you can't kick reporters off.
Correct.
After that starts, so they just ended the game, and then Big Ben was walking towards the exit, and they said, "No, wait, there's one last thing I've got to take care of." And he turned around. And then he just walked over to the bench and just sat on the bench by himself.
Just to get that picture.
Just to get that picture.
That picture is
Wait,
worth a lot.
There were cameras around him when he was doing that?
No, listen.
And then it was nice to see him celebrating with his whole family. Shout out Drew Brees.
Yep.
On the way out of the game and seeing the media follow him afterwards. But it was very nice. It was a good shot seeing Big Ben like holding his family's hands, walking through the tunnel.
His beautiful family.
It
was, Big Ben is objectively one of the funniest quarterbacks that we've ever had in the NFL. He's just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like his body's funny. The injuries are funny. He won 2 Super Bowls. He was, at a time, I would have picked him like up there. I know I saw Dave made that discussion of like the guys you'd pick in the fourth quarter to win a drive. Big Ben was my answer for a very long time, just because of how hard he was to bring down, how good he was with his arm. I wish he could stick around because much like Phil Rivers or Eli Manning, like the comedy of the NFL goes down a little bit when Big Ben retires.
Yeah. Big Ben, if you're listening, just close your ears real quick. This might be a triggering word, but there's a compilation of Big Ben doing the extending plays thing.
Yeah.
That's probably like 3-4 minutes long. It is the best football porn that you can watch. It's just like, from Big Ben's prime, there were so many instances in a fourth quarter of a game when he'd have 3 guys hanging on him like wolves trying to take down an elephant, and he would just like shake them off, stumble to his left a couple feet, make a ridiculous throw that he had no business making, and look like the most unathletic person in the world while doing it.
Right.
But he would do it repeatedly, and he was so good at it. Eventually, you had to just be like, Big Ben, there's no question. He is extremely athletic, but he just happens to look really, really goofy whenever he does some of this stuff.
Yes, and he's
one of the best quarterbacks of the last 20 years, for sure.
So much fun to watch. Did you think it was a little odd that they went like to me, Big Ben, so much fun to watch, automatic Hall of Famer, 2 Super Bowls, like one of those quarterbacks that he kind of breaks the mold. You won't see another guy quite like him. It did seem a little extra that like ESPN, everyone was like, and he's a great guy. It's like, wait, but we know he's not. Like, let's not pretend.
Well, I mean, we've seen all the documentaries behind.
we know he's not a good guy.
The last 2 years, Big Ben has put out some of the best documentary
He's done
film work
kids camps.
chronicling
kids camps.
what a good father he is.
It's the old as good as Big Ben was as a player, he was even better as a person. No, not this time. Let's just say Big Ben was a Hall of Fame player.
I did hear one announcer refer to him as an outstanding young man yesterday, and that made me laugh.
He's 40.
So hard.
Everything about that statement is wrong.
He's a
I'll
guy.
miss him. I will miss him dearly. It's very similar to Philip Rivers or Eli Manning. Like, it's just, I was actually getting a little sentimental last night of like 2010-ish era NFL when you had Peyton, Brady, Breeze, Rivers, Manning, both Mannings, Big Ben. Like, I don't know, maybe with social media and everything, I feel like we won't have as unintentionally funny guys and cast of characters.
Nobody benefited more from existing pre-social media than Big Ben.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
That would have been...
Well...
Yeah. I mean, point well taken.
Yes. Also...
Big Ben, on and off the field, had a hard time with people that said you can't do something.
Yes, but it's
he loved proving all the doubters wrong.
It's a hell of a send off for Big Ben. They still got one more game. He had to check himself. Actually, he was like, "Oh yeah, we got one more game, so we're gonna try our hardest, even though we're not eliminated, but we are eliminated." I am rooting so hard, not just because of my pinky, but I think that everyone in America should be rooting for the Jaguars because this idea that the Chargers and Raiders would have a kneel off is so fucking funny.
It would never happen.
It would be so funny.
Not Rich Bisickia's Raiders. But
I don't know.
But yeah, if the Jaguars do win, then both the Raiders and the Chargers can both get into the playoffs with a tie. I think, just the Raiders, they feel like they're in close to tie games a lot, right? It might just naturally happen.
No, they could just kneel it, run it up the middle.
If your team had the chance to go to the playoffs and all they had to do was kneel and they didn't kneel, you would be furious.
Yes.
I would be furious.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
because
it has to happen. If somehow the Jaguars win, they have to do the kneel.
But you have to also depend on the other team to kneel. Hank.
Yeah, no.
It's not just one team.
But they could.
They both have to
stand
agree.
in the middle, and they're just like, "Hey, just go for it on fourth down." Right? You don't have to kneel, but you could just run it up the middle and just be like, "Do not score."
Just kneel. Both coaches should meet, agree to kneel. Kneel
Would
it
be
out.
such a funny broadcast.
If you're a coach, it's a win-win, literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, we were close to it last year when the Eagles just gave up, right? Like that wasn't that different.
That was a legitimate NFC East title for the football team last year.
They just
gave
up.
I reject the implication that Nate Sudfeld was a white flag. Who stands to lose though? If it's the Raiders and the Chargers,
Steelers.
So the Steelers would be the ones affected.
Correct. The Steelers would make if the Colts lose, and then the Raiders and the Chargers play a earnest football game, and let's say the Chargers win, I think the Steelers then go if they win their game against the Ravens, and we get more Big Ben.
That's what we want.
Yes,
that's what we want.
I want Big Ben to just do a million more home games. Did anyone actually ask him directly if this was it?
Yeah, somebody did, and I think his answer was, I think you can pretty much say that I'm done with my career. So it's not done.
He's leaving it open.
It's not done, and you know that Mike Tomlin, when he's talking about Big Ben, he said all the right things, but you could see that there was a little bit behind it where he isn't entirely sure, because Big Ben is liable to show up at training camp next year, not say a word, and be like, all right, let's do this.
I think what Big Ben is doing now that I'm hearing all this is that I think he's essentially retiring, and then on the last day of work, he's going to walk out of the facility and he's going to do the thing like, what, did you say something? Like, keep looking back like, oh, did you want me to do another? Oh, did you want me? And hoping that someone says, hey, Ben, we want you back.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to happen. So he's going to sit in his car and be like, what? Was Tomlin saying something when I left?
He's going to get a text from Freiermuth or one guy, maybe the punter this offseason, just being like, hey, Ben, are you officially done? Or are you coming back? And Big Ben's going to say, it sounds like the guys want me back. I can't turn my back on all the guys.
Yes.
I got to come back and do it for my teammates one last year.
Yeah. So come back,
just
Big Ben.
Do it. It'd be great to see. It was kind of appropriate, though, that the Browns' season kind of ended in a way at the same time as Big Ben was walking away from the game. The way that Baker Mayfield, after the game, is saying, you know what, I've been hurt this entire year.
Yep.
I'm shutting it down. I'm going to get the surgery on my non-throwing arm, and then we'll see where it lands from there, because listen, we're Baker guys. I like Baker.
I was going to say, objectively speaking, we're not going to sit here and defend Baker. We're just going to say he's hurt.
He's hurt. We're Baker guys, but he's been hurt all year.
You got to give him a fifth year to decide if he's still hurt.
He's been here all year. And
he's been bad. He's been very bad.
He was bad, especially that first half.
He's been bad. He has been bad.
He would admit that he was bad.
Yes, and I actually still think that the Browns, Baker deserves a lot of blame for not having a good year, but the Browns deserve a lot of blame for kind of bungling this entire injury. They never really were like, hey, Baker, let's get you healthy and try to put it all back together. Instead, it was just every week, let's get you out there, and he got progressively injured and was playing progressively worse. I just think they screwed that up. If you could go in a time machine, I don't even remember, was it week 2 that he got hurt? It was
I think
early.
It was week 2 or week 3.
If he had just said, hey, let's get you healthy, Case Keenum can – the reason why Case Keenum is a decent backup is he can go 500 for a few weeks.
Yeah, so the thing, though, if he had gotten the surgery on his
shoulder – maybe not the surgery, but he had a bunch of injuries.
But but it started off with that torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. And if you get that surgery, then that's 6 months, 8 months where he can't really play before he gets back to full strength. And if you try to do it without doing the surgery – you're just going to hurt it again when you get back in. So the option was either Baker, either you can or you can't play. But it's not. It shouldn't be up to Baker to determine whether or not he should be the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. you have a head coach.
Right.
And your head coach at some point should say, okay, Baker's very clearly hurt. He should be out getting his treatment done, getting surgery, getting fixed up, because he is a good quarterback when he's healthy. That's not on Baker Mayfield to decide. Like, some people are saying Baker's selfish for playing this year and for costing the Browns an opportunity at the playoffs, given the roster that they have around him. I'd probably do the same thing if you're Baker Mayfield. Like, that's what you do.
Your coach should
be the one.
Yeah, you're hurting us.
Who's like, and to be honest, I don't know if Case Keenum would have made that much of an improvement over their overall record, because, like you said, Case Keenum, he's Mr. 500. He's a good backup.
Right.
But I don't think that you can say without Baker, we definitely make the playoffs, given the entire rest of the roster. Maybe they try to go out and get somebody else. I don't know.
Well, they were snake bitten all year too, with a lot of different things. It felt like they lost an offensive lineman every other week, and they were in it until week 17, until Sunday's games. I don't know. I think you have to bring back Baker for his 5th year, but he definitely falls in the camp of a guy that you can't be giving a record-breaking contract to. That's not like something wild. That's not a hot take. I think we all agree with that. He's not an upper echelon quarterback right now. Could he be? I don't know. But he isn't right now. He hasn't shown that he has been. So I think that's where the frustration comes from Browns fans. Like, what are we going to do? You can't – every quarterback that has a little bit of success seems to get that big contract. I think he's one of those guys you have to wait and see if he can maybe – if he has a great year next year, maybe. But otherwise, maybe move on.
Well, you're not going to find somebody in the draft that's going to – if you're the Browns – if I'm a Browns fan, it'd be a very tough sell to convince me go back to the draft right now, given the fact that Baker Mayfield is literally the only guy that's worked out for you.
Well, no,
in the last
I think
20
it's
years.
I think it's a draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round and see if he, you know what I mean? Like, Baker's the quarterback next year. And if at some point maybe it's not a Kellen Mond situation, which Mike Zimmer, I loved that answer
just
from him.
Destroyed him. Just
if you
him.
missed it, Kellen Mond or a reporter asked Mike Zimmer, "Why don't you give Kellen Mond a chance? Like, why don't we see what he's got?" And Mike Zimmer's like, "I see what he's got every single day in practice." Next
not going to
question.
happen. Yeah,
yeah. We always, as fans, we always are like, start that guy, that guy, forgetting that they do see them, and unless there's reports that he's lighting up the world, which that will happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, with Baker, I actually think maybe the solution is you do draft a guy in the 1st round and you get Baker pissed off. You get an entire offseason of mad Baker. That's when he put him back in his walk-on mentality, where it's like no one believes in you, Baker, for an entire offseason. That would be awesome. Say no, okay, Baker, no more commercials. Or you draft a guy and then you get him all the endorsements in the offseason, and then you watch Baker as a true underdog scrap and claw to get not only his starting position back, but also the progressive ads.
Yes. Which, I mean, yeah, he's got to definitely make sure that he has less ads next year, no matter what.
It's funny because they shoot those in the offseason.
Right.
But when they're being played every single commercial break, it does feel like I'm very dumb, so when I watch it on TV, I'm like, why is Baker doing all these ads this week?
Right.
He should have been preparing.
Right.
And then there was... why
is he still living in this stadium?
Yeah. There was another report that said that, I think it was Albert Breer saying that the Washington football team was considering trading the 9th overall pick for Baker Mayfield.
That seems steep.
It seems. I'm just in fuck it mode right now. Just in fuck it.
That seems steep.
He'd be fun. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Last night wasn't fun to watch.
Last night he's hurt.
Though, he's hurt. He's very hurt. Okay, should we do hot seat, cool throne? Big Ben. We get one more week. Who are they playing next week? Ravens. Here's what I guess we have to hope for is maybe someone. We never root for injuries, but it would be funny if someone on the Steelers, a quarterback on the Steelers, got injured next year, and he came back and saved their season.
Oh yeah, I mean the second Dwayne Haskins.
He's going to stay in shape.
Oh, for sure. He's going to be in the best
shape.
I
hope Big Ben is like 400 pounds. By August.
What's he going? Yeah, he's not going to know what to do with himself this offseason. Maybe, and again, like you said, we don't root for injuries, but if Big Ben could have like a minor. Like tweak his knee or something like that in the very last. He needs something to work towards in the offseason so he doesn't feel like he's just sitting around. Like let him go to rehab. Just lie to him after the game and say, hey Ben, thanks for your service. Also, your elbow is screwed up, so we're going to need to see you in here every week. Just get treatment on that. Just keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we can say Hank.
The baby boom that's going to come from 8 months or whatever, and 9 months after his retirement or his Hall of Fame ceremony in Canton, is going to be all time. That's going to be like the biggest Pittsburgh party for weekend that's probably ever happened.
And I love Pittsburgh. Like, the scenes were cool because Pittsburgh's a football city through and through, and like they all are just such diehard fans. It was cool to see. It was a fun, memorable night, even though the game sucked.
Also, no one cares, but rest in peace to anyone that lost
Najee Harris.
their fantasy championship because of Najee Harris.
Or having Nick Chubb and having Kevin Stefanski fuck you in the face.
Or going against Pittsburgh's defense that got that interception. I saw a couple people that last interception, meaningless interception.
It was the Najee Harris run was such a meaningless fuck you to so many people. And we don't talk about fantasy much on this, but championship week, like, those type of things will drive you insane.
It was funny because I was watching the Manning cast when that happened, and they were all screaming at the TV, go down tonight, because that's a smart football play.
Right.
Would be to go down to pull a Todd Gurley. But, yeah, so much money swung based on that one touchdown run. And I love watching Najee Harris run with the ball because he gets through defenders, and every single time it's an unconventional way. It's either a stiff arm that puts you into the turf.
He punched that guy right in the face last night. It was awesome.
Or he jumps over you.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do you'll never see him pull a Barry Sanders type move around somebody, but he gets through you either violently or directly over your head.
He was sick. Yeah.
And TJ Watt.
Oh yeah, TJ Watt, defensive player of the year. I'm so mad at myself. Instead of betting like I did on the Cowboys, which is I just burned my money. I said TJ Watt was going to be defensive player of the year 2 months ago, and he's going to set the record for sacks. Incredible season. The impact he's had on he is the Steelers defense. He has to win this award. It is very funny too because now we have 17 game season, 18 week season, 18 week season. So a lot of records are going to get broken. But the one record that I don't think anyone has a problem having it be broken is Michael Strahan's because he got it cheaply with the Brett Favre laydown.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. And TJ
Watt also was injured for a lot of the year. I saw some people tweeting out different numbers about that, so I'm not sure exactly how many games TJ Watt's played in. It will end up being somewhere between 13 and 16 games.
Yeah.
So it counts.
He missed one full game and he left 2 other games with injury.
Yeah.
So it'll be probably about 14 games.
But I don't think that anybody's going to say this record should not stand one because of what you said, and also because he legitimately accomplished it in under that amount.
And
of
he
games.
was incredible. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. All right, let's do hot seat.
Although I did see one person say this record shouldn't count. Maybe it was in reply to one of your tweets that you quote tweeted, Big Cat. But somebody was saying this record should have an asterisk because he got to play against
Lamar and Baker.
Yeah, Lamar and then Baker Mayfield twice. It's I can think of many divisions out there with 2 easier quarterbacks to sack than Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
And Baker Mayfield.
Yes, absolutely. They and he hasn't even played Lamar twice.
Yeah.
So they have week 18 game. Yeah, that was very weird that people don't think TJ Watt should be defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I don't really even know maybe Micah Parsons, maybe Myles Garrett, you could throw in there, but I don't know who else would be in the conversation between those 2 guys, and TJ Watt has better numbers than both of them.
I just love that we've reached a point where I can't tell the difference between the people that just do the LaFraud thing, where it's this is a Mickey Mouse title about everything as a joke, and those who are serious about it. I think that guy was serious.
No, he was serious.
Yeah,
he was an Ohio State guy. He was serious.
The Mickey Mouse thing is also serious.
Oh, the bubble thing is LaFraud, yes.
Yeah, and Hank getting
La
in
Disney
his feels because of a graphic last night that made perfect sense.
What?
Tom Brady, buck for life.
It was a graphic that said most wins in a single stadium, and Tom Brady was 1 in Gillette. It was Elway, Favre, Big Ben, and Favre has played on multiple teams. He was in a Packers jersey, and Tom Brady was in the Bucs jersey, but that's because he's a current Buck.
He's on the Bucs. It is,
but they're talking about Gillette,
right? But he's on the Bucs.
No, it's basically like when they would always say Big Ben has the most wins of any quarterback in Cleveland.
98% Patriots jersey and 1% Bucs jersey because that's the ratio of wins in Gillette.
But I do really think that it was because he's currently playing.
We'll see.
How are we going to find out?
When he retires, we're going to see what they put him up as.
Wouldn't it have been
that's
weird?
fair. That's right. That's true.
It would have been weird, though, if he was a Patriot.
What if he plays the same amount of seasons with the Bucs as he did with the Patriots?
Then, if he wins 5 more Super Bowls with them, they can have that conversation.
He's 65 years old.
Also, I hope Bills fans are watching the stat when they showed dominant quarterbacks versus other teams. It was like Big Ben 24-3, and then I think it was Brady was like 34-2 against the Bills. So
I think it would be very funny though if Tom Brady beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl this year. I think at that point you have to go into the Hall of Fame as a Buck, right?
I'm just saying this right now. If we beat the Bills in the playoffs, I don't care what happens.
Whoa.
Okay.
I'm just going to
We've
say that right now.
readjusted.
Yeah.
They've been that mean to you.
No, I'm just going to put it out there.
Which would you rather have right now, beating the Bills in the playoffs or the Celtics beating the 76ers in the playoffs?
Oh. With Ben Simmons on the Celtics.
Pats, Bills fans are my current, I can only focus
it's gotten
on what's
that
in front of
bad
me.
that quickly.
There has been, to Philadelphia's detriment, there has been more Bills fans that have said, like, sorry, some Bills fans are being mean to you. It's not all of us. That never happened with Philly.
Philly's just like,
yeah,
we are who we are.
Go hang from a bridge.
I've always respected that from Philly. They are who they are, and they don't care. That's the best part. All right, hot seat, cool throne, Hank.
My hot seat, speaking of Celtics, former Celtic, Tristan Thompson.
Yes. What a story.
He came out yesterday with an Instagram story that said, "Today, paternity results reveal that I fathered a child with the girl's name, and now paternity has been established. I look forward to amicably raising our son." I think that's his second, third, maybe fourth kid that he's had that's not with Khloe Kardashian. But in the next story, he said,
absolute king.
"I have the utmost respect and love for you," talking to Khloe.
Right,
so,
respect, yes.
Kind of mixed signals there, but probably not, never fun to be Tristan Thompson in these situations. And
wait,
yeah.
I mean, are people not taking his side? Because he said, with the utmost respect.
Never fun to be Khloe Kardashian.
Both of them. I wouldn't want to be either one of them.
I would say Khloe is the one that you got to feel bad for. Tristan, he just fucks everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but respectful.
I'm not saying I feel bad for him. I'm just saying you never want to be in a situation where the whole internet's coming at your neck.
But
Rightfully
he's
so.
always there.
Yeah.
This has this not happened?
I don't want to sound
times?
like a Tristan Thompson apologist, but
sounds like you are.
No, I think my words are misconstrued. But yeah, shitty situation for.
Does he have any kids with her?
Yeah,
yes,
2.
Yes.
Well, that's what. So I think he had a kid with her. Then he had another kid, and everyone was like, "Leave him, Khloe." Then they had another kid, and that's where people are like, "Khloe, what are you doing? He's clearly like a serial cheater. You're
Correct.
an idiot." She's like, "No, he's changed." And then I think he's had like 3 more kids.
Yes, and he had that video. He had a porn video that got released. Remember
Bonk.
that?
Yeah, that's a huge
Wow.
bonk. I don't remember that.
It did. It definitely
No,
happened.
I'll
got a
take your
link?
word for it.
Yeah.
Send me that link.
What are you looking at, Billy?
Nothing.
Tristan Thompson trends like every 6 months for this exact thing.
Wasn't it the video
He does.
of just her friend grinding on him or something?
I just remember Tristan Thompson was trending. Everyone's like, "You seen that video?" It was very he does this. He's the horniest man alive, and then every time he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Khloe, didn't mean that."
I mean, at some
Mad
point, though,
respect.
it's the whole, fool me once, shame on you.
I would say it's
Have,
well past
have
that
5
point.
children
Yeah.
outside our marriage, then maybe fool on us. We won't get fooled again.
Maybe this is just their relationship. Maybe this is what they're addicted to. This is what they get off on. Public humiliation.
No judge. No judgment.
Yeah. Okay, your cool throne?
My cool throne is darts.
Yes.
So this clip that came out today, there's been a few clips, a couple, like the most electric thing, I think I got in during quarantine, darts, watching darts, following darts, the scoring of it. A 9-dart round is one of the most electric things in sports. It's basically a perfect game of darts. And then today, this video, this guy's name is Ted Hankey. Look him up. He's got a bunch of viral videos. He's an electric darts character, but he's basically talking to himself as he's throwing, and he looks like Tony Soprano, and he basically says, "Who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think me." And then throws like the dart he wanted to throw. It's just an unbelievable trash-talking clip that he, talks his shit and then does what he wants to do. Great clip, and then obviously from that, a bunch of other viral clips of him just being a psychopath. Apparently he had a stroke mid-game and finished the game. And after the game, was like, "Yeah, no, that was like," they're like, "What happened?" You were like twitching and freaking out. He's like, "Yeah, I had a stroke."
Yeah, no, he's
His like
incredible.
he looks like Tony Soprano. He looks like Tony Soprano in real life playing darts. And so yeah, I mean, there's always videos that perfect dart rounds go out; those go viral. But just in general, it's a great sport to watch. I want to go to that's one of on my bucket list of sports events is like a huge darting event in either England or Ireland where the people are fired up because those look so fun.
You get hammered and then you just scream their chants. I love any sport that has like organized songs and chants going on in the background. The rest of the clip after the guy hits the double 20 or whatever it was also a stark reminder of how much different British TV is from American TV. Because the guy's mic'd up, and he's talking into his mic. He's like, yeah, you're bloody well right, you cunt. Like, just dropping hard C-bombs, and the announcers are, like, cracking up about it. Like, oh, yeah, he's a bit of a colorful character, this one. And just imagining, like, on mic'd up, if like, J.J. Watt got caught dropping a C-bomb.
Christ?
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus Christ. All right, your hot seat, cool throne, PFT.
Well, I was going to put darts on there. Hank got to that before I did, so...
On your hot seat?
My hot seat or my cool throne, one of the two.
Well, he asked for your hot seat.
So my hot seat was going to be the Red Wolves. Red Wolves are on the hot seat. The Washington Red Wolves are no longer on the table for the Washington football team.
Oh, they officially took it off?
They took it off, yeah. They did. They're doing this thing called Making the Brand, where they show the whole franchise behind the scenes, like trying to figure out what's going to be the next name for the football team.
They have a vote?
What?
That sounds like... Do those people have a say in it, though?
No, it's just a video series.
They're just saying, like, all right, we're gonna X out of this Photoshop.
No,
they're like an image creator, and they're like, all right, nope.
Well, it's mostly based around Jason Wright and Ron Rivera, talking through all the options. And so this most recent one was them saying we can't do Red Wolves, even though we wanted to, because there are other sports teams that have copyrights that would have made this impossible for us to execute on. So now there's all sorts of conspiracies about what it's going to be. They're going to announce the team name on February 2nd, which is Groundhog's Day.
We got to leak it.
So
someone's got to leak it.
I'm thinking it's going to be the Red Hogs, which I love, actually, because you're giving a throwback to the Hogs, the old offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's good.
And you can do so much cool shit with pissed off looking pigs.
Yep.
Like the old dicks.
Yeah, Razorbacks.
Bonk. The Razorbacks, the feral hogs, Billy was saying. You could call them the 30 to 50 feral hogs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm starting to like more and more the idea of the Red Hogs, but some people are saying it's going to be the Brigade now or the Armada. I'm just certain that no matter what they pick, everyone's going to hate it for the first 24 hours. And they'll probably continue to hate it until they win. And then if you win, you can call them whatever. And people will be like, oh, yeah, that name's kind of growing on me.
Yeah, it's just they'll trend for 3 hours, and then we'll all forget.
Exactly.
Anything's better than football team.
I like football team. It's grown on me.
It's kind of nice. Like, we don't need a mascot. We play football.
It's just a football team.
It's kind of European.
A little bit.
Yeah. Soccer teams do.
Club. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Football club. All right, and your cool throne?
My cool throne is the Low Man Trophy being an actual trophy.
Yes, this is mine as well.
Okay, yeah, we dropped it last night. We made the announcement at halftime of the Monday Night Football game. John Chenal, again, still don't know how to pronounce his name. It's pronounced like 8 different ways now. He won, and then people got mad because people were saying that other people should have won the trophy.
Yes.
Well, guess what?
Iowa got mad.
There was a committee that was convened, and we voted on it. And perhaps if you wanted your fullback to win, then you should have had simply a better rushing offense.
Yes.
What were the final results?
I didn't even see. I don't know the ballots.
And who were the most mad?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Iowa fans were the most mad, which is very funny because they go around the internet saying people are mad about Iowa.
Michigan State fans were mad that Connor Hayward, who is kind of a dubious fullback, he plays a lot. He's listed in certain program guides as being a big boy weapon, which is why I took that and I was like, yeah, I'll allow this in the fullback category. But he finished, I think, in 3rd place.
I've never seen the ballots. That's the best part is they think that I have an inside job. I've never seen the ballots. It just happens that Wisconsin runs the best offense with a fullback that isn't a triple option. Like I was saying on the text chain, if we had a wide receiver trophy and Wisconsin won, then you would have a fair case that it's rigged.
Wisconsin is fullback U.
Right. So what were the final votes?
So number 1 was Chanel. Thank you, Jake. Number 2 was Jacoby Buchanan, the Buchanan ball from Army.
Who won last year.
And then number 3 was a tie. I need to look at I think it was Hayward and Monty Pottebaum from Iowa. Let me just double check because I tweeted out last night after I looked up the results of the top 3. But there was definitely a tie at number 3 overall. I did see, I noticed in the video I kept saying without further ado before I announced the award. Mm-hmm. Like 90% of what I say in life is ado. So you should be used to that. Don't give me shit about that. I'm a big ado guy.
It was also Iowa fans were also saying that they don't have the correct representation.
What does that mean?
In terms of voters?
They think that there should be a
Alec
fullback.
Ingold's on there.
Yeah.
is on the committee.
He won.
Yeah, Alex
Yeah.
Ingold is a winner
Right.
of the trophy.
So that was the other argument they were making, that like there's not enough Iowa players.
Who is
or-
the best Iowa fullback of all time?
George Kittle.
Tight end.
I know. I'm just. We should just throw him on there to make everyone not mad anymore.
I do think
So that was the top three. So
Okay.
the third,
So we're good.
Third place overall was a tie between Connor Hayward and Monty Pottebaum.
Okay, perfect.
You got third place. That's
But it's
pretty
good that people are mad about it because it means it's real. That's the best part. That's why I was on my cool throne too. Because it's like, if you're going to get mad about a trophy, that means you're taking it too seriously. That means it might be real.
and shout out to all the schools that made like hype videos and stuff.
Yes.
That also
Yeah,
helps.
that was sick.
Good stuff.
That was sick.
You're right. It's a good thing that people are mad
Yes,
online.
they take it seriously.
And we are aware of allegations that one of our low-man committee members was acting unprofessionally on social media, debating people angrily that were making accusations against him. That person has been spoken to, and they've been told that
Who, me?
in the future, please continue to do this because it's good for drumming up publicity around the ward.
Sorry, I had to tell Iowa fans they had the 102nd rushing offense. I don't know. That sucks.
Is it true? I didn't watch the game, but if they had a better rushing offense, could they beat Kentucky?
Well, they
at the
did
end
go.
of the game?
They had 4th and 1 and they punted. Yeah.
Yikes!
So I don't know.
Seems
I
like if
think
you
the
had a
Badgers
guy
would've
that could
gotten
really,
that.
push him up.
I don't know. Maybe Army would have gone for that.
Also, I don't want this to reflect poorly on Monty Pottebaum.
No, he's still got an eligibility year of eligibility, right?
And he's an awesome fullback.
Yeah, no, we
Bulletin
love
material.
him.
Bulletin board material.
Yeah. Yes.
He's probably embarrassed at the conduct of
Yes,
the
very
Pottebaum stands.
unfullback-like
Yeah.
for everyone to complain like this. You just take your award and you take it, and that's it. All right, my hot seat is Jake still because Wisconsin beat Purdue at Purdue, number 3 Purdue. No one has ever been more wrong bracketology-wise preseason than Jake Marsh.
Are they ranked?
And everybody else.
That's it. See, this is the part where Jake, he had a moment in time. Hank and I were kind of giving him a little guff this morning. He had a moment in time where he could have broken out. If he had put the Badgers in the bracket before the season started, he would be the only one who looks smart.
Yeah, but this is the brilliance of Jake's plan because he's like the pollsters who say, well, I'm only telling you what it would be if it started today. So
Right, but he also
Jake
could
is,
have just...
Jake is not making any judgments on the actual teams themselves. He's just saying he's a thermometer. You don't look at the thermometer and be like, yo, this thermometer sucks. It's too hot outside. You walk outside and you get mad at the weather. So be mad at the weather.
No, he should come up with his own
sweet
opinions.
darling Jake.
He should come up with his own
They
opinions.
weren't supposed to be good this year. You knew that
But
too.
No, Johnny Davis,
Right.
National Player of the Year. If you had a vote,
Yeah.
number 1, you would win it.
But no one would say that 2
Wow,
months
low
ago.
man and National Player of the Year. I might have to get another shirt going. All in 1 year. Yeah, no, that was an awesome game. Jake, everyone go listen to Stool Bench Mob. Great podcast with Jake and Marty Mush. All right.
Hey.
Billy,
hey.
go ahead.
Wait.
Billy, go ahead.
Wait.
Hot seat, cool throne.
Rico Bosco.
Rico
I
as
want
well.
to give
Yeah,
credit.
Rico as well.
I want to give credit to Rico Bosco. I feel like he's been
He's
been a forgotten man
Rico,
recently.
to his
and
credit,
Rico would take a bullet for you.
Rico, to his credit, did say that if Wisconsin didn't have Johnny Davis on their team, they wouldn't be as good.
I just think
That's some
Spot the
fucking
lie.
That is
Fact or fiction?
That is fact.
I just think Rico
100% behind him in that one.
gets a bad rap, and he's an outstanding human that more people should respect.
100% behind him.
So my hot seat is the Washington football team. Jalen Hurts recently released a letter asking for the Washington football team to take some follow-up action to what happened after the railing
He
collapse.
open-lettered us?
He open-lettered you guys.
Notes apt?
I don't know if it was exact. Yeah, it's Notes app.
He notes-app open-lettered us after kicking the shit out of us in our own house?
Yeah, and some people were saying that when those fans fell on the field, they were just told to get the F off the field. And the only one who helped them was Jalen Hurts.
That's a fact.
So, on the hot seat.
God damn, I wish I would have been one of those fans that had fallen onto the field.
Sued for everything.
I would have been in a neck brace before I got off the ground.
Yep.
I would be in court right now, and I would be well on my way to owning the entire team.
Also, there's a little discourse about whether the cameraman was kicking the people on the ground. Or
he was mad. He was so mad. You can watch it again. He was like, what the fuck? Why'd these people fall on me? It's like,
Listen,
well, it's not their fault.
I like Jason Wright. That being said, I hope one of these I would rather have a Philadelphia Eagles diehard superfan, the guy that was wearing the helmet. I hope that guy sues Dan Snyder and takes the entire team away from him and ends up owning the team. That's how bad things are right now. I would rather the biggest Philadelphia Eagles fan in the world, the biggest asshole in Philadelphia. I want you to own the team instead of our guy that we have right now. Please do that for me. Please sue. Thank you.
Cool Throne?
And my cool throne is Antonio Brown because he hasn't actually been cut yet.
Oh,
Officially.
really?
Hasn't been released.
Interesting.
So no roster movement. So kind of cool throne on him.
But
There
he's
is
just like hanging out. He's not at practice or anything. He was
He was
at
at the Nets game. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also a theory out there that he just didn't realize there was 18 weeks. So he's like thought the season was over. So it's like, all right, well, it's over. This is the season.
It's definitely
It's
a
done.
possibility.
Yeah.
Cool throne.
It's like he thought he wasn't going to get all those incentives and everything because that was the last regular season game. All right, Jake, your hot seat, Cool Throne.
My hot seat is Kellen Mond, the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
His head coach, Mike Zimmer. He was asked, will we see him next week? He said, not particularly. Why? I see him every day. Got him.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a situation where you weren't listening?
We did.
Oh, no.
Oh,
This
Jake.
broke at midnight.
No,
This broke-
but Jake, we talked about it on this show.
15 minutes ago.
You got me.
Oh!
Yep.
Oh!
Wow.
Let's go.
Couldn't
was
be
double
No one's a
checking.
bigger winner than Billy in this
Couldn't be
situation.
us.
Yeah, Billy's
No,
already.
in his defense.
The words hadn't come out of Jake Marsh's mouth before Billy was grabbing the microphone.
In his
ready,
defense, no,
ready
this-
to high step on his dead
Oh,
body.
no.
Being on this
Jake.
green couch, there's a lot of quick thinking on your feet you have to do
Men in the arena.
to, like,
We
if
should do
someone
it. We
takes.
should do it. For Halloween next year, we'll flip it. You guys will sit in our seats.
Well,
and
just
we'll
the
take yours.
order.
Day.
Because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
scrambling.
you think you guys are just AWLs listening. Like you have to do so much more.
I wish I could
Wow,
go back to
could
just listening.
In Jake's face right now is so much. You can anytime. In Jake's face, there's so much disappointment. I love it. You eat it. I love it. That's what I want. I want that. You die on that field. He's so mad at himself.
Jake, what do you think it was? Like, do some self-scouting at this point. What do you think it was that made you miss that?
I think I was double checking the tweet, maybe pulling it up because I had it in my notes. But I was looking at the context to read it out loud.
Damn
What?
it.
Pull up your search history. See what you were looking at online 20 minutes ago, because I think that's when we brought it up.
That's brutal, Jake. I feel for you, man.
I think it was. I also have the tab open for the Wisconsin Football Pronunciation Guide.
That's
yeah, right.
There you
that
go.
might have been it.
That's what it was.
It was all show related,
Jake.
but I apologize. I'll
What a
send out-
moment, though.
Don't apologize to us.
No, no,
my
no.
notes. I apologize to the
Yeah.
AWLs.
Yes, please.
No.
Notes app coming later.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's a classy thing to do.
I am keeping the bonk list, and I think I'm gonna have to keep a zone out list. And right now, Jake's
number one.
got one up
He's
on
number
Billy.
one.
Yep.
Damn.
By the way, I think the
Nothing I can
bonk
say.
list should actually be. It's impossible to do it this way, but I would prefer it be retroactive, like looking at what the bonk total was, as
You make your own
opposed to
bonk
making
list.
it, as opposed to making a competition to see who can get bonked less in the future.
I'm making don't worry. I'm not going to say anything, and we'll go over it in like 6 months.
Okay.
And we'll go over
Works for
transgressions.
me. Jake, man.
So my hot seat's me.
Yeah, that was an incredible moment because wow. Okay. All right. Where were you? That's okay. You'll bounce back.
You can't
I
be
know
perfect.
you. Yeah,
Like,
no. You're
Mistakes happen,
You can
so
try
I
to bounce
apologize
back,
to
guy.
everybody in
I
this
believe
room
in
and
you.
outside of it.
yeah. No, I believe in you.
Stinks.
Absolutely.
Redemption, though. I have 361 days for redemption this year.
Boom.
Nah, but we only do a show every 3 days, so
Okay, so I have
like you have
Also Memorial Day. We don't have
100
one.
Yeah,
like 100-ish.
Okay.
Days
All
for
right.
redemption.
I believe in you. I believe
Yeah.
in
it's
you.
not a good way to start the new year.
Listen,
though.
buy stock in Jake right now. It's the lowest it's ever been. Okay, go ahead. You cool throne.
My cool throne's being old. The oldest person in the world, Kane Tanaka, turned 119 yesterday.
Whoa.
So good
Guy
for
or
them.
girl?
I believe girl.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
guys live that old.
Why would you want to as a guy?
Yeah. It's wow. 119. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Are you sure
Yeah,
that
she.
she already turned 119?
Yes, it's not a Betty White
Okay,
situation.
good.
1902? Fuck. That is crazy.
That's old.
She was,
1903.
she was living it up in the roaring
1920.
20s.
Oh, yeah, it's 2022.
Bonus hot
Yeah.
seat, me.
Yeah. But you'll be back.
I'll be back.
I fucking believe. All right. Let's get to our interviews. We got Kirk Herbstreit and then Jimmy Graham back to back. Here's Kirk Herbstreit. Okay, we now welcome on our very good friend. It is Kirk Herbstreit. He is calling the national title game on Monday, Alabama versus Georgia. He's off of calling the semifinal, the Rose Bowl, and also the entire internet hates him now because he said that everyone who opts out doesn't love football. Did I recap it perfectly?
I guess the internet part. I mean, I think it kind of took on a life of its own. Seemed like after the Matt Corral injury, but I don't know how many people listened to the entire 8-minute segment. I'm guessing very few, but they definitely read some headlines.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you on because I want to talk about the national championship, but I also thought when I saw, you were trending and everything, I was like, I know Herbstreit. Like, I know that this isn't exactly what he's saying, and this is a conversation that has a lot of nuance in it. So I thought, let's have the conversation. Let's talk about the opt-outs and what is all the rage in college football right now. So where do you land on the entire thing?
The conversation was with Desmond, Howard, and myself, and Pollock and Reese, and we were just kind of talking about the new world. I mean, we're not hiding from it. It's just our new reality, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, if you're a fan of watching these guys play. So we were just talking about what's going on. And I the one little line that I brought up, and if you watch the whole segment, Reese came at me like, well, that's a sweeping statement to say that players, maybe they don't love the game as much as they used to. And then I said, no, I said some of these players, I think, and first of all, just to give you perspective, I've covered this sport from the front row. I've been behind the curtain at all these programs for 26 years. I'm really fortunate to be there. I have 4 sons that are 21 years and younger, 2 of which play Power 5 football. I'm not out of touch with kids. If anything, I got a pretty good feel of what they're distracted by. They love you guys. They love a lot. I mean, I get it. It's different. It's a different time. But I don't have my head in the sand. Like, I'm not oblivious to the game of college football is changing. Caleb Williams came out yesterday. I read a quote saying, I'm going to go to the highest bidder. I mean, you have to understand the game is changing. So it was really, the whole conversation was about that. And Des and I were just talking about, when we played, how guys would never think about opting out. They, of course, would play, and how the team kind of overrode any kind of individual thought. This is a long time ago. And we were just talking about, is it money that's changed this or what it might be? But the whole thing was some players maybe don't love the game the way guys used to. It wasn't all players don't love the game. And I think that's what it became. And listen, when I say they don't love the game, I think that going back to my own kids, they grew up literally in their internet age, and they grew up with phones. Think about how even your guys' age, how we grew up. We just didn't, if I would have grown up in this era, guess what? I would have been right there with them probably. It's just what they know. I grew up, we didn't have a lot of stuff. So we went outside and played, or you watched football, you watched basketball. We were entertained by watching games. So we kind of fell in love. We were out in the yard playing. So we all kind of loved the game and the idea of, wow, one day maybe I can be on TV playing. Guys today, like my kids, they're brainwashed football fans. If it's not Ohio State, they're kind of into it, but kind of not, and which is fine. That's their prerogative. They're into their phones. They're really into social media. And I get it. So my kids included, by the way, don't have the same passion that I had.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they're bad kids. They're my kids. It just means they've grown up differently. And so I think it really got twisted. It got really misunderstood. I don't think kids that opt out are bad kids. I don't think that they're making a bad decision. They're making their own decision that they and their family think fits their best interests. So be it. But I think if you would have listened to the entire 8 minutes, you would have heard a very different conversation than I think some of the headlines that were just grabbed, maybe to try to help people kind of push their own agenda or push their own narrative to whatever platform they might have.
Yeah.
So I think Big Cat and I agree that we like it when players play in bowl games from our perspective as a fan.
Yes.
And especially if you went to a school and you see your team make it, even if it's not the college football playoff, if they make it to a good bowl game, you like seeing the guys that you've supported over the years play. I think that's a natural part of being a fan, to want to see these guys continue to play, to see the best players go out there and play. But also, I think that we have a perspective where if somebody chooses to not play in a bowl game because they have this looming NFL money waiting for them that they don't want to screw up. They can change their lives. They can change their families' lives. They can set their kids up for the rest of their life. And they don't want to take that chance during, one bowl game for their college team. I don't think that it's fair to necessarily say that player doesn't like football or doesn't love football because they're making, by all accounts, a tremendous business decision. If you look at the risk versus the reward, I don't think it's fair to say that player doesn't love football because they choose to not play.
I can completely appreciate that. And I think, again, if you would have heard the conversation, I don't think you would have felt we said all kids that opt out don't love football. Boom, period. It really wasn't that kind of vibe at all. It was more just, I think as fans of the game, like, wow, look where we're headed. My point was this, like, why is a bowl game meaningless? Like, if you're Brock Bowers or you're Will Anderson, right now, one guy's played 1 year of college football, Bowers at Georgia, Will Anderson's played 2. And again, in that segment, I described it as there's 2 different lanes if you're a college football player. One lane is I'm here for 3 years. Whoever can get me to the NFL faster, that's my goal. And you know what? You're entitled to that view. More power to you. I wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart. I hope you make generational wealth. But that's one lane. If you're in that lane, why would you not only not play in a bowl game, why would you play in the entire season? See, I think that's where we're going. I think we're focused on they skip a meaningless bowl game. And I'm saying if that's your view, you're entitled. But why stop there? Like, why? If it's all about the end game, which is getting to the NFL, pull a Micah Parsons, pull there's been so many guys.
I mean, Jamar Chase did it, yeah.
Nick Bosa.
Jamar Chase. Like, if the goal is to get there, skip your entire third year, go to Phoenix, go train, stay healthy. That was my point in that segment. Like, I don't get skipping a bowl game. Like, if it's about saving myself for a meaningless bowl game, skip yourself from the whole season. That's one lane. And I'm not saying you're a jerk if you do that. I'm saying go for it. That's your thing. That's what you want to do. I don't agree with it because here's why. Because I care about players. I care about kids. Even though people are saying I'm this guy that hates players. It's furthest from the truth. I love players. And I look at these players like my kids. I'm not related to them in any way or have relationships with many of them, but I really honestly do care about them. Because I've seen so many kids, you guys focus maybe on the guys that become Jamar Chase. What you don't see, the guys I see who end up having those same dreams as Jamar Chase, and they didn't make it. They opted out of whatever, or they declared early. They never make the NFL. So my point is this, stay in the other lane potentially, have those same dreams, have those same goals. But at the same time, man, you have no idea what opportunity you have if you go to Madison or Columbus or Ann Arbor or Austin, Texas. Go chase that NFL dream. But in the meantime, get your degree, meet people, have relationships, be courteous, be humble, treat people well. And when you go play the NFL for 5 years or 7 years and you don't make generational wealth, or let's say you don't make it to the NFL, you bust a knee or whatever happens, you have this to fall back on, relationships. And those schools will take care of you forever with the alumni and with different relationships. If you play the system, you can either let the system play you, or you can play the system. And I'll say one last thing. I didn't have a pot to piss in when I came out of high school. My parents were divorced, broken home, despite what I look like on TV. That was my background. I had no money. If I didn't get a scholarship, I would have joined the Army. My sister paid off student loans till she was in her 40s. We had no money. So I say that because I have appreciation for what these players are facing, because I had those same dreams. I would have killed to go to the NFL. Guess what? Wasn't in the cards for me. I never got to a camp in the NFL. What am I going to do? Am I just going to go home? No, I wasn't a great student. I didn't take school as serious as I should have, but I got a business degree. I didn't know what I was going to do. I stumbled into broadcasting, accidentally got into it, making $12,000 a year. Had no idea. It wasn't like I'm going to go to game day. I'm going to go to ESPN. I had no concept of what I wanted to do. It was just bust my ass, work as hard as I can, opportunity like you guys do. Opportunity opened up, and I eventually got to ESPN. And maybe it's a 1 in a million story, but my point is the relationships that I took advantage of opened some doors for me to get that opportunity. And that's why it breaks my heart when players put all their eggs into one basket, NFL or bust. And then when they don't make it, and 98% of these guys aren't making it. So that's what breaks my heart, man, is we focus on Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons, and we don't focus on the 98% of guys that I care about and want them to have something to fall back on if they don't make it. So that's why I get kind of passionate, kind of fired up about this topic, because it's not as simple as go chase the money, because sometimes that doesn't always work out. And I wish they had a backup plan. That's all.
Yeah. And I think it is true that like this, what we're talking about right now, it's in the extremes, because there's not a lot of players that are like surefire. You're a first rounder. You knew that going into your third year. You don't even have to go out there
right.
put stuff on tape. I think the root of this problem is college football. I love college football. College football is about tradition. College football is about your own relationships with, your friends from college or people you love, going to games. So that's where I think it breaks, where it's hard to be like, wait, the Rose Bowl means something, but it doesn't really mean a lot comparatively now than it did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's just a reality of where we are in like the landscape of sports. It's tough to swallow, but it's the truth. At the end of the day, though, my biggest question, and you said you've been around all these programs, I'm wondering this. Has it changed a little bit in the locker room in terms of teammates being like, hey, man, go get your money? Like, we don't sit out for this ball? Because I think that's a very important aspect of this, where everyone they try to figure this out. They either take the side of, oh, this kid should get the millions, opt out, it's a meaningless game, or they take the side of, well, if I was his teammate, I'd be pissed off. What are those teammates saying? Because I feel like they might also think like, hey, go get your money, man. Like, go get your money. They're not as mad as they would be.
I think they always are going to have their teammates back. I don't think there is this unbelievable amount of pressure that, wow, I can't believe you're not going to play with us. But on the other hand, if they say, hey, man, I can't resist. We're going one more time. I mean, there would be a ridiculous celebration. But at the same time, when they say, hey, I'm going to protect myself, it's become the new thing.
Right.
Hey man, we get that. You got to do that. We totally understand it. We support you. You're right. That is very fresh, and that's how it is right now.
And that's changing. And my biggest take of the entire thing is I just don't like when anyone on the internet shames any of these kids one way or the other. Like, if you opt out, that's your choice. You made the choice with your family, with your teammates, with your friends, everything. More power to you. If you stay though, and like Matt Corral gets hurt, and people are like, oh, he shouldn't have played this game. No. Matt Corral he said, these guys have done so much for me, I'm going to do something for them. Like, that's a cool thing as well. And he shouldn't be shamed or felt like, oh, you might have screwed yourself over because he wanted to play one last game with his teammates.
Yeah, when I look back at this whole last 4 days or so, like if there's any regret, it's not for the people that are using me as a piñata, over the last 3 days or 4 days. It's not that. It's the play. If I could have been a little bit more clear, you guys do live TV, you know what it can be like when there's producers in your ear. Desmond even says something like, man, the producers are. So it's like you're trying to get all your words right, and you're talking about a sensitive subject, and it's not always perfect. So if I had to apologize to anybody, it'd be to the current players, because they probably didn't see the segment at all. And all they're doing is getting on social media and saying Herbstreit says players don't care about that. I really, really wish and hope that current players know that, man, I appreciate the situation that they're in. I love college football. I love the players. I've always been a guy. You guys know me. You watch Get Up, you watch First Take, you watch a lot of these shows today. It's about throwing stuff, being a hot take artist, throw it against the wall. I'm not. I've just never been that guy. I'm not comfortable with the story ever being about me. I'm always about the players, the coaches, and the storylines. And so I've been really uncomfortable over the last few days because I don't want it to be about me.
Right.
And I really regret not being clear in my comments to be able to make these players know how much I love them and appreciate them. And they don't have to view the world the way I do, obviously. But I don't ever want to be viewed as I'm out of touch when I have 4 sons that are all 21 and younger. And I get it. I get what these kids are facing. And I would say what you just said about Matt Corral. I would encourage anybody, if they have any hint. I remember when Ron Dane, you're a Wisconsin guy, when Ron Dane came back, I felt he was very tentative running the football, almost running to not get hurt his last year because he knew what he had in front of him. And I remember thinking, if you run to not get hurt, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
If you play in a bowl game and you're worried, oh my gosh, I'm playing in this bowl game, but what if I get hurt? You're going to get hurt. So like if you have any hesitation or doubt about playing a season or playing in a bowl game, I would encourage you to not play. Don't do that to your team, to yourself, because you are going to get hurt.
Right.
If there's any fear at all about what's at stake, and oh my gosh, I would say don't do it. You got to play the game. It is a reckless game, and you guys watch it all the time. Dudes are flying. But like when you're a freshman or sophomore, like Jackson Smith and Jigba, no one's even thinking about him getting hurt.
Right.
Like he's just like catching the ball around. I mean, he's just playing football, right? No one's like, oh my God, be careful. But when you get to that level, you either got to power through it and not worry about being hurt, or if it's bothering you and it's in the back of your mind, you got to nip it and say, hey man, I'm too concerned about it. I don't want to hurt myself or the team, so I'm not going to play. That would be my recommendation.
It's also tough to get hurt if you're Jackson Smith and Jibba and nobody's tackling you.
Yeah.
Right? If they were playing defense, I could see maybe how that could.
That was like 7-on-7.
That was awesome.
brutal.
That's the other part. Is like it just after all this stuff, and there was opt-outs for Ohio State. The game was incredible because
the game was incredible. How about Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah.
My gosh, dude is 6'3", 205. So you're right. I mean, it opens up a door for another guy, but it's going to be interesting, fellas, because I think next year and the year after that and the year, wait till we look. We'll pull back this discussion. We'll look in 2000 and whatever, 4 years, 5 years. We're going to be like, holy cow. Nobody's playing bowl games, like it's just going to progressively continue to go down there.
So I think there's another conversation to be had, and I saw some comparisons side by side of the conversation that you were having about the players, and then also your conversation with Lincoln Riley, who is a guy that, he took a new job. He made a business decision for him and his family, but he also left his team before their season was complete.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. So I think some people saw the screenshot of you talking to Lincoln Riley and kind of, you were playing nice with him because he's right. Obviously had, talks with you guys. You've broadcast his games before. And you compare that to, how you were talking about some of the players that were choosing to opt out. But when there's a coach that leaves before the end of the season, talk about how you feel about that particular set of circumstances, because he's kind of doing the same thing as some of the players would be doing, opting not to stick around with his team through the end of the season.
In a perfect world, it'd be great if the players and the coaches had some kind of bonding contract that allowed them to finish the task, right? Because I think that's really important. And what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame, his team was potentially in the playoff. And of course, Marcus Freeman stepped in. So I'll say this, though. I don't think this is just everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just don't think it's fair. I don't look at players and coaches as apples and apples. I think a coach is a 45-year-old guy. He's been a student himself. A lot of times he played. He was a GA. He's grinded his way to the point where he is. And people get really upset to think, wow, coaches are held in a different light than players. Well, they've earned that. Like you guys, compare yourselves right now in your career to where you are now, to where you were when you first started, wherever you were. You're a little bit more seasoned. You know a little bit more. You've earned the right to be in the position that you're in. And you will be, imagine where you'll be in 10 years or where you'll be in 20 years. And imagine if there was a young guy that was coming up who got, a podcast with you guys and he was just starting out and he wanted to have the same opportunities that you guys had. And you'd be like, wait, it just doesn't work that way. And with players, don't get me wrong. I want to kind of recalibrate the whole system. I say we make the players employees. I say we're down a path now. We form a union. That's where we're going with this thing. And by the way, if you do that, players got to understand when they go get a massage that's for free now, that's going to cost them. When they go to the cryo machine, that's going to cost them. It's a very different relationship, but that's where I think that's where we're headed at this point, because Players need to be treated that way. They need to benefit more than they are, not just with name, image, and likeness. The system needs to benefit them. How? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But they do. They need to feel like, okay, they're appreciating what we bring to the table. These are all things that 5 years ago I would have never thought we would have gotten to. But we have to accept where we are. But to your point, man, I personally don't like to see coaches do what they do. I don't begrudge them for going to a better opportunity or a new opportunity, but I do not like to see them leave before the season is up. But I hope we find a way to curtail that, because that's just like players you'd love to see finish the deal. Same goes for coaches, without a doubt. I don't think there's any difference there.
I'm really dumb, so maybe you can explain this to me like I'm the idiot that I am. But if you start to treat players like they're employees, you're saying that they'd have to like put a coin in a machine to like get Gatorade out, or they'd have to pay for
I don't know how it would work in that regard. I'm just saying that I've talked with a lot of people about, are we going to a point where eventually the players will be unionized and that kind of thing? And they say, if we do, it would become a different, you can get fired. You show up late to a meeting, you're fined. It's just a different relationship. It's essentially like an NFL relationship. I don't know if NFL players put a coin in and buy a Gatorade. I don't know if it's like that. And I don't know the specifics. I have no idea. I mean, this is like the early stages of where it may go.
The game's changing. And it's not.
I mean, we have to start. We just have to start thinking about like, where is the sport going, and not be like it needs to stay the way it is and that's all there is to it. I mean, I'm more than willing to listen and evolve with the times. We have to. I mean, we can't just say no, we're not going to do it. I mean, you have to, I'd love to protect the traditions of the sport. I love the game. I love what it stands for. Something that a lot of people, the newer fans or people that maybe look at the sport and just see money, what players would tell you, whether they play today or they played a long time ago, is what you learn from playing this game is really valuable. Mm-hmm. Whether it's high school football or college football, when you learn about being a good teammate, you learn about getting your ass knocked down and getting back up, or you're not starting and you're really sad, but you keep working. I mean, that's how real life is. That's how your job is. My job is. I mean, life is hard. I tell my kids that all the time. Like, life is every day there's adversity, every day. And if you run from that adversity, as a youngster, you're not going to learn how to deal with it when you get older. And so we all have to go through it. In football, the great thing about that game is how much shit you go through to be able to figure out, man, this sucks, but this coach taught me how to get through this. And then when you become a 25 or 30 or 40-year-old, you look back at that coach and, man, I couldn't stand that guy, but holy shit, he changed my life and taught me about how to deal with that situation. And no one talks about any of that. It's just how much money is in it. And that to me is kind of undermining what's so great about the sport, and especially about college football. And I hope we don't lose that perspective or that lens.
Yeah, and we probably will at times, just because the internet, that's how it works. But I think you're absolutely right. All right, let's talk a little bit about this national championship game, these playoffs. So we technically pushed our bet. Our preseason bet was that Cincinnati Cincinnati was not going to make it over a one-loss Power 5 team. They didn't. I would be curious, though, because you talked to the
said
committee.
They wouldn't make it, dude.
No. Listen to the tape, Kirk.
No, it was over. It was the entire estimation. I was rooting for Cincinnati to make it.
I'm doing what the guys did the last 3 days. I'm just cherry picking what I want here. No. You said they wouldn't be in it.
Listen, I was always very much pro Cincinnati. I was also pro the committee will find a way to fuck them over. And if there's a team that has one loss from a Power 5 school and Cincinnati's undefeated, the one-loss Power 5 team will be ahead of them. Was there – you talked to the committee. I don't know how much you talked to them afterwards. Do you think in your heart of hearts if Oklahoma State had won the Big 12 championship game, they would have been in the playoff?
I haven't spoken to anybody to kind of pinpoint that. It would have been a hell of a debate. My hunch is Cincinnati would have gone ahead of them. I think that's my hunch.
Well, because it would have won you the bet.
That and because of where they were all year. I mean, think about it. They weren't coming from 28 working their way all the way up.
True.
Usually the Power Five does. These some bitches were sitting there at 6-7 at the beginning of the year, and just like climb and climb. So they were invited to the party before the season started, and then what killed them is Indiana becoming whatever Indiana became. I don't even know what their record was, but I remember when we were talking, I was like, man, they go to Indiana, like in August, that was a big deal. They go to Notre Dame, which ended up being a good win for them, but then they kind of did okay. Conference play was okay for them. I don't know, man. I really think they would have gotten the nod, and I would have enjoyed a steak. I will
do it. We're still going to do it. We'll still go out to dinner.
We'll hook up with you guys going to LA for the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yep.
Done.
Okay.
We'll do a
let's
dinner
hook up out there.
Yes. And I do think Cincinnati, if you put it into perspective, they did okay. Like Alabama, it's hard to beat a team that has 35 stars. Yeah.
They do that to a lot of people.
Right.
You know, I don't think it's fair to lump the group of five. If Cincinnati would have won or if they lost, I would never like lump Cincinnati into, well, there you go. That's why the group of five doesn't get a chance. I don't feel that way at all. I just think Alabama, they just took a rubber hose out. You know, it wasn't a crowbar. It wasn't a crowbar. It was just a rubber hose and just kind of bruised them up and just told them, you know, get out of here.
Slapped them around for a little bit.
It was, it's a totally different, you know, level of athlete, strength, speed, all that stuff. But we've seen it.
It was no more on display in that game than the Michigan Georgia game.
Correct.
Oh my gosh. The Michigan offensive line. Think about what they did against Ohio State and the Big Ten. And they went in against Georgia, and it looked like, I don't know, a bunch of NFL players snuck into to Hard Rock and got into some Georgia uniforms, defensive linemen, and they just overwhelmed them. They really never had a chance.
They had no time. I do think Michigan had a weird game plan at times where they were trying to go sideline to sideline, and like Georgia will just, if you've watched Georgia at all this year, if you try to do anything within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, they have faster and stronger guys than everyone. Like, you have to beat them deep.
You have to. The problem was they didn't have enough time to throw the ball often. They couldn't get anything going with Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum. I mean, they've been a run the ball, play action team all year. And when you can't run the ball, your play action game's gone. And then you're just trying to, even I felt like some of their perimeter stuff, it was with jet sweep. It was almost like, hey guys, we're going this way. You know, it was very, very predictable that kind of set up Georgia. And then, like you said, Georgia with Nakobe Dean and those guys, they can fly to the football. So those games are behind us, and now it sets us up for a rematch with Georgia and Bama, which should be outstanding.
Yeah, in the SEC championship, Nick Saban was saying you guys gave us some of that yummy rat poison this week because nobody was, for the first time when Nick Saban saying like people were doubting Alabama, I think he's kind of right. People were doubting Alabama going into that game, and we looked like idiots. I felt so dumb after that game. I was like, I can't believe I actually doubted Alabama. It happened to me.
I know, man. So, I think all of us did.
Yeah, and now they've got the rematch going on, and I have to try to figure out, wait, now does Georgia have all the yummy rat poison from getting beaten by Alabama? Or can Alabama – is there still a way that Nick Saban can sit his team down and say, okay, guys, nobody believes
Well, they're underdogs.
No, I don't care what Vegas says. What you're saying, think about this. 12 weeks of football, we held Georgia on a pedestal, and then there was a gap, and there was everybody else. 12 weeks. And so when Georgia went against Alabama, we thought it'd be competitive because it's Nick Saban, but there's no way you can beat that Georgia defense. Stetson Bennett, whatever, it doesn't matter. Georgia's defense, they're going to win the game. And 10-0 looked great. They were doing what they do to everybody. And then you got it. I mean, of course, Bryson Young ended up making plays, Jamison Williams, and they just went to another level offensively. But there's nothing. I don't think either team, maybe Georgia, I don't know if any team can play up. They don't respect us. We're going to show them. Because in college football, that works. 18 to 22-year-old guys, they feed off of that. But I don't know. Other than Georgia, like you said, they just lost, and maybe they're pissed off, and maybe they show up ready to go, and they're out to get revenge. Maybe you could play that angle up. But I don't sense the same kind of build-up where it's real decisive and obvious on one side like the last time.
What about the element of this game? I still do think Georgia's a better team than Alabama, and I think that they've been better all year. Kirby Smart, though, like, is Nick Saban his boogeyman at this point? Because if it feels like one of those games that if Georgia does, and I don't want to, the Georgia fans are going to get very triggered by what I'm about to say, but if Georgia can't complete the deal this year, it feels like it might never happen, because this is like, they are really, really good. They've been good all year. Alabama has not been as good as Alabama has been in the past, and it's just they can't get over that hump. They can't beat the boogeyman here.
Fair. When I think about Alabama's defense, and I ask you guys this, there's Will Anderson, number 31, who's just special. Outside of him, how many guys remind you of the old Alabama defenses? Christian Harris, a great player. Jordan Battles. I mean, they've got talent, obviously. It's Alabama. But I'm talking about those guys that you turn it on, you're just like Minka Fitzpatrick, where you're just like, holy cow. You know, that's a first rounder. It just doesn't feel like they have that talent that they've had in the past. Doesn't mean they're still not a great team, obviously. But what your point is well taken. And I think Georgia, they've been recruiting. Now, they've had one arm tied behind their back with their offense. They've had George Pickens, who's as good a receiver as there is in the country, had an ACL in spring. You guys have been seeing him, number 1. He's come back a little bit the last 3 games. Jermaine Burton, number 7, who caught a big touchdown against Michigan. He's been hurt most of the year. Kyrus Jackson, number 10, dinged up almost most of the year. So they've been more running backs and tight ends all year. And now more so even in the last game they played Bama, they've got some receivers that can get vertical, and I think they have more weapons at their disposal to try to attack Alabama. But what you're saying is fair. This Georgia team's been building for this. Kirby, you go back and look at those games, the game that Tua threw it to Devontae Smith in overtime. I mean, they were winning the whole game.
Yep.
The next year, when Jalen Hurts gets benched for Tua, he comes off the bench in the SEC championship. Georgia's winning the whole game. Remember the fake punt to Justin Fields, who was the personal protector? They come all the way back, and Alabama wins that game led by Jalen Hurts. So they've definitely had their moments. They're favored to win in Atlanta this year and couldn't get it done. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a if not now, when kind of vibe. And I think it's as mental of a hump as it is physical.
Right.
And especially, with Kirby trying to beat his former head coach.
Right.
Yeah, how much do you think that actually plays into his preparation for the game? If you're a Nick Saban protege, do you spend, days thinking, like trying to think one step ahead of Coach Saban? Like, okay, here's what he used to do when I worked for him, so here's what I'm going to do to counteract that. Or do you just go out there and you call whatever the game plan is that you think is best for your team?
I think it's more about, you definitely are prepping. You're looking at that game in Atlanta. In college football, I know in pros we see it all the time when guys play twice, but in college it's very unusual to have another chance to play in a game. So I think you're studying that. You're studying tendencies. You're not going back to your time. Now, the build-up, the psychological aspect of it, like what he does the night before the game, what he does the day of the game, how he tries to get an advantage on his opponent, you're privy to that because you experienced with him. But as far as the actual game planning and the XO of the matchup, it's all about what happened in Atlanta. Are they going to run the same stuff? What wrinkles do we anticipate? Because we got to be ready to adjust. But I think it adds to it. Instead of Alabama playing Ohio State or Michigan or somebody like that, they're playing a team that they just saw. And you wonder how much of that same game plan Alabama will use, considering how well it worked. One last thing, John Mechie not being in the game is big. He's a 1,000-yard receiver, fantastic player. He's not playing. He got hurt in this game last time they played. So if I'm Kirby, I'm literally taking a guy, no matter where number 1 goes, if he's in the slot, if he's to the field, if he motions over into the boundary, I'm jamming his ass at the line of scrimmage every single snap with a safety over top. And I'm making either Brian Robinson win the game running, the tight ends, that they have, Latu and Bingsley, make another receiver that we're not as familiar with, make someone else. But Jamison Williams destroyed them the last game they played. He can't beat me. He cannot beat me would be my biggest key to this game.
Yeah, I do think that Mechie being out is actually a sneaky big piece of this because he's been like this for the last couple of years. He's never been the best receiver on that team. Some might say he hasn't been the second best receiver on the team at times. But he's always a guy that is absolutely a threat that you can't forget about. And he's not just some guy that's popping up on the depth chart replacing someone. He's been there and he's been making plays every week, week in, week out. Just a real solid guy.
Are you as big a college? Are you a bigger college football fan or
I'm a
NFL?
much bigger NFL fan.
You're a bigger NFL?
Yeah, but I love Mechie. I've loved him for the last 2 years.
Okay.
I've been saying that he is the glue that holds this team together.
Okay, because you're breaking it down there a little bit for me on Mechie.
I watched a lot of film, Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ground the
all over
all
it,
too. I feel bad for you because you don't get to watch the coach's room during the simulcast when you've got
I'm gonna miss. I'll DVR it.
You've got Steve Adazio
Yes.
ordering pizza for everybody.
Yes.
It's great, man.
All right. Well, Kirk, thank you so much, man. We'll see you in LA. We'll also see you on Monday night. We're very excited. This is the other part. I know that people get upset because it's always, it seems like it's always the SEC. I'm so excited for this game. They're the two best teams. It's not close.
That's it.
What are you going to say?
End of the day, whether it was a 12-team playoff or 30-team playoff, whatever you want to do, I mean, the two best teams are playing each other. I thought Michigan, honestly, I thought they were one of the best teams, the way they played and the way they finished their year. I mean, they were doing that at the end of the year, but Georgia beat them and dominated them. So they get a chance, and they should. And as you said, it's the two best. Let's see who wins it.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
And also, good luck. You're calling an NFL game on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Monday Night Football on Saturday night. You've got the Chiefs-Broncos. Do you need any help, any prep for that? Because
Patrick Mahomes is good.
Yeah, just say Patrick Mahomes, cheat code.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, that guy's a cheat code.
But I remember watching some of these shows on ESPN early in the year, and they're like, he's broke, his game is broke, and I'm like, how's he broke? I mean, he threw a few picks, had a few bad games, but it seems that he's doing okay for himself right now.
Yeah, I'd say he's okay. He's pretty decent.
He's a pretty good player. Pretty good player. Yeah, I'm pumped to see them on Saturday and then head to Indy right after the game.
I love it. Hardest working man in showbiz. All right, we'll see you in L.A., Herbie.
All right, guys. Take care. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
see you,
man.
Good talking to you. Kirk Herbstreit was brought to you by our good friends over at BetterHelp. You can go to betterhelp.com/PMT and you can get 10% off your first month. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on this show, and this month we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health. For example, some people think that you should wait until things get bad before you go to therapy, but that's not necessarily true. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse. It can help you avoid those lows. A lot of people think that therapy is for quote-unquote crazy people, but therapy doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It means that you recognize that all humans have emotions, and we need to learn to control them, not to avoid them. And we've been taught that mental health should not be a part of normal life, but that's wrong too. I think we talk a lot on the show, and you hear a lot in sports these days about how mental health has come such a long way. It's not just people saying mental health has come such a long way. It's actually emphasizing the fact that everyone could probably benefit from talking to a therapist from time to time, seeing somebody who is a professional that can help you get through certain emotions, help you feel better. It actually is a great tool that you can have, talking to somebody who will listen and who can help you overcome some of the larger emotional swings that you might have in your life. So give it a try. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. You don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. You can do a live phone chat session, or you can do the video chat and see somebody face-to-face. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PMT. That's BetterHelp.com/PMT. And now, Jimmy Graham.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. It is 5-time Pro Bowler, Chicago Bear, formerly a Saint as well, also a Packer and a Seahawk. All over the place. It is Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends of all time. He's also nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So each team in the NFL nominates one guy. Jimmy Graham got that for the Bears. He's doing great work. Let's talk about the Jimmy Graham Foundation first. So what is the Jimmy Graham Foundation doing, and were you surprised when you got nominated by the Bears, as being the guy?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on Pardon My Take, obviously, and appreciate all the things that you guys do. And, some of the most entertaining content I've ever seen. So I appreciate you guys letting me on. So for myself, the Jimmy Grant Foundation, we basically provide flight experiences to veterans of any war and young underprivileged kids. And that all happens in a helicopter that I rebuilt that fought in the Vietnam War. We throw and host big events, but a lot of it is really, to thank and honor our veterans, and then to give these flight experiences and days at the airport to where I can impress upon these young kids to get more involved with the STEM program, and how many job opportunities and opportunities that there are within the aerospace technology industry, through engineering and whatnot, and even a mechanic, or, there's all these jobs available. And I think that there's a lot of underprivileged kids who just are never exposed to that world.
Yeah. That's so cool. I was doing some reading about you and seeing you are very much an aviation enthusiast. You're a flight enthusiast. You're a pilot. You've got like 5 different licenses. We're really smart too. I think we consider ourselves to be aviation buffs. How do planes fly?
Well, there's a energy lift and drag coefficient, and really you just need. I tell most people, to make a plane go, you need some cash, because you gotta be able to afford the gas. I've been basically flying planes as long as I've been playing football. After my rookie year, I went and got my first license, and I've gotten 8 or 9 or 10 licenses since. And I fly a little bit of everything. I'm a commercial helicopter pilot, a commercial multi-engine pilot. I'm an aerobatic pilot, seaplane pilot, and just kind of the gamut. So I go off and I give these experiences. I give these moments and really just share with a lot of people, my life, and how the sky's the limit, and to take a kid up and do aerobatics, or really in the helicopter is a special moment. Obviously because I'm a dumb jock, and it really shows and proves that it doesn't matter where you start, it doesn't matter where your cards are. You can determine your own destiny, and you just try to put in the work.
Yeah, as a pilot, I've always wanted to ask a pilot this. How do you feel about people clapping when the plane lands?
It's always pretty interesting, especially when you're dealing with the commercial airlines. They're Part 135, so they go through some pretty rigorous maintenance inspections, and those pilots are trained, and there's so much simulator work that goes into that. If you really look into the numbers, it's very few and far between. Especially when you understand how these aircraft operate. They have these Cat 5 landings now, so even in fog, you'll basically have the plane land itself. It's always funny. I just always kind of laugh when especially on our team. Every team I've been on, everybody knows I'm a pilot. Mm-hmm. So the minute that there's a bump, everybody's screaming my name, asking me what's happening. That's always fun.
It sounds like you're saying that planes have become, able to fly themselves, that you think that it's inappropriate to clap for the pilot when you land. But what if you're clapping for the plane? Yeah.
I think you should more or less clap for the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, now most of the landings are done by hand, obviously because you got to stay current, but really every plane now, especially 777s and stuff like that, they all have Cat 5 landing capabilities. So, that if something was really going on, those things are pretty much going to land themselves in fog. So, I always think it's funny, honestly.
So let's talk some football. It's crazy how unbelievable your career has been, and how you've been so good for so long that I think a lot of people forget, not that you didn't play, you played basketball at Miami, but that you played so little football at Miami. At what point, so what was your numbers in your 1 year at Miami football? It was like 17 catches, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was just a hope and a wish,
Right.
I was out there just trying to learn how to play. And I personally didn't even think I was going to get drafted or even go to the NFL. So that was, I did all that because I thought I was going to the military. That's really where my head was, and so it just all kind of took a turn.
So when you make the transition, did anyone sit you down and like, hey, listen, dude, you're a good basketball player. You play Division I basketball, but you average 4 and 4. Like, this is not going to work out. Why not try football? Or like, did someone have that hard conversation with you, and then it all clicked and was like, all right, let's fucking do this?
I had some pretty big influences. Donna Shalala was one of them. She was the University of Miami president. She loved me. She honored me at graduation and always kind of believed in me, especially since I fouled out every game. She told me like my sophomore year that I was playing the wrong sport after like my second time I fouled out in a row. And then honestly, kind of one of the bigger kind of names and people who got involved pretty early was Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar, yeah, he met me randomly, and it was like just random at a barbecue. I ran into Bernie, and he had a football, so he was throwing the football with me in someone's backyard. This is a no-lie story. And after him telling me about the NFL and surgeries and this and all he had been through, he looked at me and said, "Hey man, you could be a playmaker in the NFL." I was like,
"What?
What the hell is this old man talking about?" So just kind of fast forward. He was a kind of a big convincing arm for me getting into football and really just trying it out because this guy Bernie told me that I one day could make some plays.
That's incredible. I mean, obviously sounds like there's a lot of people in your life that helped you make that decision, but for the purpose of this show and headlines, we are going to distill it down to if Jimmy Graham never goes to a barbecue with Bernie Kosar and tosses around a football, he never makes it to the NFL and has an incredible career. So thank you. That's a great – I mean, Bernie Kosar changed your life and changed everyone who watches football's life.
No doubt. I haven't seen him in a while, but, obviously just incredibly thankful for, him that, saw this 21-year-old kid and after 30 minutes of just talking shit was like, hey, I think you could be a playmaker in the NFL. So it's pretty life-changing.
That's crazy. So the other part of the equation I never really understand when guys switch sports, switch positions, because, we'll watch and a guy will go from guard to tackle and be like, why can't you do that? You went from basketball to football, playing tight end. At what point in your career in the NFL were you like, okay, I got this. Like, I got this. I've learned everything. Obviously you learn new things every now and then, but you felt comfortable and it was not trying to figure out like actually how to learn the game at that level?
Man, for me, there was so much learning on the job. I mean, most of my first ever were all in NFL games. Most of my first ever were all on big TV games, either good or bad, so I had to kind of figure out and kind of have a small memory, just to move on and not live in the, not rest on my laurels or not rest on the mistake that I did. Cause I literally have never seen that in my entire life, even I would say going in, after I became a starter in my second year, kind of midway through the season, I would say about week 8, just realizing I was bigger and faster than basically everybody in the NFL. And realizing it kind of then, it was one of the things where, early, I mean, I think at the time, the year before I had 5 touchdowns and I was, making plays and whatnot. But until that year, I think that's the year me and Gronk kind of went up against each other for the most yards. It's like 13 something. Kind of midway through that year is when it kind of clicked like, I'm actually just bigger and faster than everybody. I can go out here and embarrass people. And then, it just kind of, that's the kind of mindset that I took on. Obviously I had a great quarterback, great scheme with Sean Payton. And, they kind of built me, to be just an aggressor, to just want to embarrass people. And those years I was there and the moments that we had are, legendary and special things I'll never forget the rest of my life, honestly.
You kind of set up an archetype of tight end that I think people have been chasing for a while, which is like some people say, oh, you can just go out and get like a Jimmy Graham type guy, former college basketball player, not really realizing that there are a few guys that are 6'6", 260, very athletic with great hands that can out-jump everybody on the field too. And you see a lot of guys like try to make that transition, and a lot of times it doesn't work out. What do you think is the one thing that's kind of separated you, that allowed you to really excel as a tight end, where a lot of guys, whether it be from certain blocking assignments or just the grind of a training camp in the summer, might have weeded out some of the other guys?
Yeah, over the last 12 years, decade, I've spoken to almost every one of those guys on the phone, and I've had my opinion piece to their coach on what I thought I needed to work on. And I mean, I've spoken to so many guys, it's just, just kind of how it is. But for me, I always ask the guy, like, what's your why? Why do you want to do this? If it's for the money, it's not worth it because you won't make it. I always say that I think my childhood had a lot to do with it. I gave myself no other option, and from the things that I went through as a kid, I just play with this type of intensity and tenacity that, I was willing to, yeah, I mean, I was willing to die on certain plays out there. And that's kind of how I took it most of my career, at big moments, I'm just man to man. I always tell myself, I'm willing to die right now. And I think that's the mentality you have to have when you get into this league, especially when you come from basketball or you come from an experience where you really don't know what you're doing. You're just out here running around trying not to get slapped over the middle. So for me, that was kind of my mental piece. And at times, many times, even in my older career, big moment, you got to make a play. And, in my mind, I'm willing to die for it. So I think that's kind of the big separator.
So we had this debate because opt-outs are obviously all the rage in college football and everyone's talking about love of the sport. Can you be very successful in the NFL if you don't truly love football? It's a tough question because it sounds like you obviously love football, saying I'm willing to die on this play.
Well, it sounds like you know your why, as you said.
Yeah.
And so if you have a strong why, then you can do things like that could simulate love for the sport because you actually have a greater purpose than that, and football is a means of getting there.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a beast of a why, the how you get there and all the sacrifices is going to matter. I think there's a lot of guys' whys that are a little different. A lot of guys are trying to provide for their families. A lot of guys come from some pretty savage situations, and this is it for them. So their why is that. And when you're up against a desperate man, there's not many things he's willing to go through to get there. But I think in the end, you gotta love the game and you gotta love to compete. That at the core of it is everything, because it'll catch up with you at some point. These off seasons, you can't spend on yachts and out here on vacation, having a good time. You got to spend time working. You got to be under the squat rack, and you've got to take no vacations for 6 years so that you can reach the pinnacle. And so you can reach all these dreams and goals you have for yourself. If you don't want it for yourself, it's simply not going to happen. So me, I would say, what's your why? One, but you have to like the competition of this game and what it brings. And if you do, then all those little things that add up, it's not going to matter.
It could be also you're searching for your why is your why, just constantly searching for it.
Yeah.
You find it eventually.
Yeah, especially when you're young, you're 21 years old and 20s, you have no idea. You have no idea what's ahead. You have no idea kind of really what's going on. So I mean, even me, I understood that, my why and what I was willing to sacrifice for. But I think, that's kind of something I talk to a lot of our young guys about, with their lives and what they have going on. And I hear, this and that, I always try to guide them in the right way so that, they don't make any of these mistakes that might, stumble their career.
I like Big Cat's why, though. Just kind of like your why is trying to find your why. You're searching. Right. I think Leaves of Grass was written about that.
Looking for your why is your why.
Yeah.
Right.
Buddha did that for a while, too. So people forget that you're the reason why you're not allowed to dunk a football over the crossbar in the NFL.
Yes.
You broke the upright. I think that was in Atlanta back in 2013. You dunked on everybody, you ruined Arthur Smith's goalpost. Did you ever apologize to him?
Nah, I think if I look back at, all my times in that old stadium, I always said I own a little bit of real estate in there. I scored a bunch on them. I won a lot of games in there, and it was always just a crazy rivalry. But I'll do it again. I remember, Mark Ingram jumping on my back, and as I'm punching the goalpost, it's a big statement. We were always battling with Matt and that team, to try to win the NFC South, and it was high scoring games. Whoever had the ball at the end would always win. So. No, I'll never apologize. What I'm mad about is the $32,000 I got fined in preseason for dunking the next year.
Okay. That's fair to be upset about that.
Were you surprised when it broke? Because I've seen a lot of guys dunk before, but I've never seen a guy pull the axis of an upright off its kilter.
Yeah, back in the day, my last 2 years in New Orleans and my first year in Seattle, I weighed 280 pounds. I was a big dude. I was a lot bigger than I am now. I was I remember weighing in kind of before one of the games, and I was 288, and which is nuts. Yeah, obviously that's probably why I blew my damn knee out. But it was also a different league back then. Guys were huge. Mike linebackers, the Urlachers, Ray Lewis's. All these guys were 250, 255, and you can't survive as a linebacker in the box like that anymore. You got to be fast running a 4.4 nowadays. So, it's just a different game.
Yeah. Who so the famous Jimmy Graham contract, I'm a wide receiver, I should be paid as a wide receiver on the franchise tag, was an incredible back and forth. If you don't remember it, the franchise tag for the Saints, the franchise tag him, it was like something about $8 million. If he was classified as a wide receiver, it was like 12 or 13 million. So it was a big difference. What is it, more than that?
Tight end was $6 million and receiver was 12.5.
Okay, so even more than that. So $6.5 million that you're fighting for. The question that has always stuck in my head from the entire back and forth: who fucked up and forgot to take tight end out of your Twitter bio?
Well, first off, that had nothing to do with it.
But it was cited. It was cited as part of the evidence. Yeah.
It was. There was so much stuff cited. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, this, like, I still have like the case file. It's humongous. Like, it's boxes and boxes of shit. And it's just one of these things where I never held out. I never asked for a penny. I played my rookie deal out, and when it came time, they franchised me because it was $6 million. And they said, well, in 2 years, we'll franchise you twice. You'll be 30, and then we'll get rid of you. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Right. For me, I told him, hey, if you give me $1 more than Gronk, I'll take it. And Gronk signed a deal 2 years early. I just wanted $1 more, and they wouldn't do it. So, then that's when things get muddy, things get weird. And that's when, the whole aspect of the business takes over, unfortunately, and then you got to stand up for yourself, and obviously they're going to stand up for themselves. And, I know if I would have really won the case, then it would have been probably the way they pay players would probably be a little different now. It was going to be more like there's some, like in the NBA, there's not a big man doesn't make big man money, and a point guard doesn't make point guard money. You just make playmaker money. And I knew that there was a few guys that were falling underneath this category. And so that was kind of the big tug away, for me, winning that, and probably why Sean Payton testified against me in court. And,
what happens after that? Is it awkward? Is it awkward that you had your coach testify against you?
Yeah, obviously. We had a couple conversations, and for me, it kind of hurt because, I really saw him as like a father figure. He built me. He created me. He helped me become who I was, and I thought it was more than that. So obviously the business aspect kind of took over, and equally, I think because he was being like that, I kind of stood my ground, and I turned into a man at offseason. So.
Did you ever consider maybe converting to Mormonism? Because that seems to be the key for Sean Payton to want to pay like nebulous in-between type guys exorbitant amount of money.
Well, you know what? I would say definitely kind of since then, I think guys in that place, who earned it young got paid, and they just figured it out. I think Kamara, I think the receiver, I think they just kind of gave those guys the bag just because they realized, hey, we don't want like a leader franchise guy to have to get out of here and have to be traded. I think, I think a lot was learned kind of through the whole experience, unfortunately. And and that's kind of how it is.
You weren't around for the year where Sean Payton was suspended, right? So you're not going to be in the Kevin James movie?
Oh, no, I was there.
Oh, you were there for that. So who would you want to play you, or who does play you in the Kevin James movie?
Oh, do they put me in there? I mean, obviously The Rock,
Yeah, that's just a good answer for anything. Like,
keep it in Miami.
Who you want to hang out with tonight? The Rock. Like,
yeah,
The Rock.
Always a correct answer. Pete Davidson, I could see playing you. That'd be kind of cool.
It's kind of
no, dude's a stick man. He slays everyone.
Yeah, the stick man.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm a Bears fan. I gotta ask, how awkward is it in Halas Hall right now?
Awkward. Guys are just focused on ending the season right, and staying healthy, and we're going to figure out who our quarterback is Sunday, and then kind of go from there.
One day at a time.
Great answer, Jimmy. Wow.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Are you focused on controlling what you can control right now?
Yeah, that's all we're doing here, man. And sometimes this off season we'll get back together.
Jimmy, talk about the mindset that goes into your preparation for this Sunday.
Me?
Yeah, mindset. Where are we at mentally?
I mean, hopefully this isn't my last game. That's kind of where my mindset is obviously, I want to be here for my boy Cole Kmet, make sure that, he keeps rising and keeps learning. But, for me as well, I got to figure out what's next for me, and I got to figure out if there's an opportunity for me to go onto, a contender next year and kind of see what happens. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts all around the NFL, and we'll see who retires and who doesn't, and if I keep playing.
So that actually it just triggered something in my brain. You were part of the famous 11 tight end room that Ryan Pace put together, where he's like, I'm going to try to Pokemon collect all of the tight ends in the entire NFL and do this going into the training camp. Did you have enough seats in the room? Like, what was that? Did someone have to stand? How'd that work out?
Obviously tight end position's a big, it's a position that kind of always gets hurt, kind of always gets banged around. And I think they were, just trying to figure out, what was going to be the best, moving forward, especially, with how much, that they were supposed to be using us. So, it was just, it was definitely interesting.
It was
11 tight ends.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
Did you guys, were there like cliques inside the tight end room? Like this group of four?
Our tight end room's pretty close, and I'm old, so the more the merrier, because that means the less I have to practice. So we're all very close, man. We even however many we had, I don't even remember what it was. That's kind of how some of the off seasons are. Every team at some point loads up on some position, trying to figure out what their future is and kind of what the present is.
So I asked you kind of a awkward question because obviously it seems like there's change coming to the Bears. Hopefully. I'll ask you an easier question. How big of a dickhead is Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, you're being serious.
Jimmy's nodding. He's saying, "Yep." He just winked at us. He just winked at us. Did you see that wink?
I didn't see the wink.
He saw the wink,
but I didn't see the wink, but I saw the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Nah, trust me, Aaron Rodgers is my guy, man. He, obviously I spent 2 years there. It was kind of a weird 2 years, obviously, because Mike got fired and, new offense and, just a lot going on, kind of those 2 years there that kind of built up into what it is now. But, me and Aaron are extremely close. We still talk every week.
No chance. No chance. That's a lie.
Yeah. Obviously blessed, all the times that we spent together and, obviously the derbies and stuff. It's, I owe him and we'll always be close, always. And that's real.
Has he told you how much LSD he did this offseason?
Is that ridiculous? No, I don't know his personal ordeals.
Uh-huh.
He's over there in California doing his thing, man. But
wow.
he's had a hell of a.
Sounds like you're really close to him.
Well, I also live in Miami, so yeah, we get on it every once in a while, FaceTime, catch up, talk about things, and we share some similar opinions on very many things.
Why don't we FaceTime him right now? We should just FaceTime him right now.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that.
I mean, you guys FaceTime all the time.
I would never do that though, ever. And you guys know that. First off, if randomly somebody FaceTime me while on the show, I'd be pissed. So
we used to do that all the time to our guests. No one actually got. We had Tiger Woods on. Scott Van Pelt called Tiger Woods. No big deal.
Yeah, remember we had Michael Jordan on.
Yeah, we had Michael Jordan on. Denny Hamlin called Michael Jordan. So it works.
Who's the most famous person on your cell phone?
The most famous person on my cell phone. Wow. Probably Mark Cuban, maybe. Mark.
I think you can do better than Mark.
Yeah.
He's not that famous. We know him.
Yeah. He's awesome, right?
Yeah, no, he is awesome.
Yeah.
But he's not. If we know him, then he's not that famous.
What about Obama?
Well, he's not on my cell phone.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to the White House a couple of times to speak for him, but that's it.
Oh, no big deal.
You got Trump in your cell phone then? Trump.
No, I don't. No. I saw him over in Palm Beach one time, but that's it.
All right, so I had one last question. This has been awesome. Everyone, please check out the Jimmy Graham Foundation. He is nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. It'd be nice if the Bears could win something Super Bowl week for once, so we're rooting for you, Jimmy. So you are a fantasy football Hall of Famer. Your 2013 week or season was insane when you had 16 touchdowns. How often do people come up to you and like mention that? Because I'd have to imagine a decent amount.
Every day of my life. It doesn't matter where it was. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Almost it's anywhere every day. I hear it nonstop. I mean, I've been pulled over by a cop, speeding, and he's just like, "Hey man, thanks for the win, man." And, it's just like it's just nuts. I think fantasy football has just propelled just offensive players on a different stratosphere, man. It's been great for the game. It really has.
But it's crazy because that 2013 season, it was also it was like kind of that moment where it was a cheat code where you're like, oh wow, tight ends can do like a bunch for us here. And also I should mention the 2011 season when you had 11 touchdowns as well. You like changed everything. So people. It's like LaDainian Tomlinson and Jimmy Graham. Those are the two guys that I think of in my mind where I'm like, I can remember those specific years, and it was so fucking awesome to have them on your team.
Yeah, I mean, still to this day, I get everybody and their mom just always. Actually, most of the people who probably donate to the foundation is always linked to something on fantasy football.
You're paying it back. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just paying it forward. So I appreciate all the people. I've been paying it for the last couple of years for the foundation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Very cool. My last question is, do you get invited to hang out with George Kittle and Greg Olsen and all those other tight ends when they get together and they do their little sleepovers?
No, it's kind of weird. This offseason, I didn't get an invite to the tight end extravaganza.
Wow.
Which is I was kind of disappointed. I told Clance, I told some of the older tight ends this year, maybe, or next year, the same week, I'll throw the tight end mafia, me, Jeremy Shockey, down in Miami or down in the Bahamas, and we'll have our own little thing.
I like that, a rival tight end get together.
Or you could do like tight ends that should be wide receivers, or vice versa. It's just you and Kelvin Benjamin hanging out. That'd be cool.
Listen. Again, that was all just to get a contract, but it happens.
I would imagine if you asked like Kittle and although you were trying to help tight ends like overall, because if you got paid as a wide receiver, more guys would have gotten paid as a wide receiver. But they probably are like, dude, what are you ashamed of us?
You turned your back on
who we are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, because Cole Kmet went, I didn't even get the invite. Cole went, and was sending me pictures of all his little buds. But
wow,
I think you got to put the narrative out there. Like next time you talk to Chris Collinsworth before a game, just be like, you know what? I actually take a lot of pride in my blocking, and then have him say that on the air. He loves saying that about tight ends. This guy takes a lot of pride in his blocking, Al. And if you get him to say that, then maybe they'll be like, all right, he wants to get back in the club. And then Kittle will invite you to come hang out and wrestle for a weekend.
Wrestle.
I assume that's what they do. They just hang out and they just, let's go. Let's do
bash heads, yeah.
If not, you guys can meet Tight End Mafia down in Miami. Me, Jeremy Shockey, all the boys will get back together.
Kelvin Benjamin, yep. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it so much. And, good luck with the rest of the year. Just try not to linger around like the water cooler. I'm sure that would probably be weird to get caught in a conversation.
We're all good, man.
Yeah, just be you,
Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me, man, and thanks for the plug for the foundation, man. And, I'll keep watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Awesome, man. Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right, see you.
Thanks, man. Seriously, though, how big of a dick is Aaron Rodgers?
He's awesome. He's awesome, dude.
You're winking again. He's winking again.
He's the man, bro. He's the man.
All right, see you, man. Thanks so much. Okay, thanks to Jimmy Graham and Kirk Herbstreit. Let's wrap up. We do a few guys on chicks and send you on your way. Hank?
Hey, Dad Cat Short King, the best in the office, and Spank. I have a dietary question
Billy?
for Billy Feet Picks.
Oh.
Speaking of which, Billy has supped us up. It takes me like 10 minutes to eat them all every day because there's like 17 of them, and one of them smells and tastes horrible, so I like gag them down.
That's the fish oil. It's like
I believe though. I'm a believer.
I
actually think my thought process is I've been so unhealthy and putting nothing good in my body that something is better than nothing. Hopefully, my liver stays intact, but I believe. I'm going to say that I believe in you, Billy.
We got some probiotics. So we're working it from all angles.
Is there a chance, though? I'm actually seriously concerned about kidney health. Is there a chance that what you've given me will fuck my kidneys?
Well, that's why we didn't put you on creatine.
Okay.
Most of it's anti-inflammatory.
It didn't really answer the question.
Yeah, it did. Good point. I totally bought it for a second.
I don't think anything
I was like, okay, yeah, good. Billy thought of everything.
Nothing I gave you is like a salt or something that would be filtered.
Okay. Billy wrote a very good blog today. You guys should all go read it. So he says exactly how he's going to get us all into shape. And it also gave a little peek behind his brain into what he actually thinks of us, because in the first sentence, he was like, here's how you would potentially get one tall fat guy, one skinny fat guy, and then one, you called me like short flab. I forget what you said about me.
Decent muscle building genetics.
Yeah, you did say that about my genetics. And then at the end of the blog, he said, I am not a doctor. None of this is medical advice. It's bioscience from a bioscientist.
No, that's bro science from a bro scientist.
I'm reading the blog. You said bioscience from a bioscientist. Specifically,
Sounds like an autocorrect.
Specifically only for bros. If you are not a bro, stop reading, because bros don't sue bros for medical malpractice for organ failure.
I like that. That's true. It's guy code.
Facts.
All right. So this guy, my boyfriend has IBS-C. Don't know what that means. So he drinks Miralax every day, and it makes his farts and shits unbearable. What dietary changes does he need to make life with him bearable, because it is rough?
So he's got irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
So he's actually probably got to go the probiotic route, as we just talked about. His
Fibers?
gut health is not with fibers, but the certain bacteria that's in his gut probably isn't the best, and that's why he's getting some of the irritation. I've actually seen from some research that IBS can actually be helped by a lot of probiotic research. The exact ones, I don't know, but look into it.
You guys ever had a hemorrhoid?
No.
Nope.
I got a. Do you have one?
No, I'm just curious.
That was a very specific question.
No, it's kind of related to what Billy's saying.
You should.
Hey, PMT boys.
Wait.
You've had a hemorrhoid.
No,
You've definitely had a hemorrhoid.
No,
you
doing
should-
some research.
You should get
on my
think
own
you have
independently. No.
doing some research independent, like just only one finger at a time.
Yeah.
Have you guys gotten that thing done? Get colonoscopy.
No. 40.
Are you okay?
Hey, PMT boys. My husband had his AirPods in while I was in labor last week. Today, I learned he was listening to PMT while we welcomed our firstborn into the world. Is this a weird move, and or should I be upset with him?
I think it's science has proven that listening to Part of My Take while your significant other is giving birth is actually a very good way to welcome the child into this world.
It's not a weird move. There's nothing that the dad, can really do in this situation. You're just there. It's not like the doctors are doing their thing. You're trying to not get in the way, but also stay out of the way. It's a very hard line to walk here. So I don't think it's a problem at all.
In all honesty, I have one maybe suggestion for something that you can do while your wife is giving birth. Maybe actually don't listen to a podcast while the baby is coming out. Is that too much?
No, it's like, I don't know. He's got one headphone in. He probably shouldn't, but also it's a very emotional, weird situation. So however you cope. I'm not going to tell you how to deal with it.
He probably was listening to Guys on Chicks thinking that we might be giving advice
on how to pull the baby out. Yeah.
Listen, when my son was born on his birthday, Glenny Balls gave me fucking 4 WNBA picks, and they all lost. We all have different memories.
Okay. How do I get my boyfriend to let go of the past? I'm a Steelers fan and he is a Seahawks fan. I can't even watch my games in peace without mad shit talking every 10 seconds because he hates the Steelers for defeating them in a Super Bowl in 2006.
Yeah.
I've debated just letting go of the Steelers and becoming a Seahawks fan, but I can't do that. Born and raised Steelers, help me let him let it go.
Yeah, Seahawks should have won that game.
Yeah, the refs fucked him.
Refs absolutely fucked
He's in the right in this one. You're very much in the wrong.
I think you just have to know going into that relationship, there's always going to be that imbalance.
The little tension.
Yep.
All right, we got a few of these. 2 more. We got a few of these ones, so this will be a general one. But, hey, PFT, Big Cat Hank, Billy, Jake, and Bubba. I joined my husband's friend's fantasy league because I needed to fill the last spot before the draft. I asked my husband if he could help me through it since I never had gone through a draft before. But I also told him I only wanted the cutest players. I called my team League Babes. My first picks were Josh Allen, Harrison Butker. Anyways, I ended up winning the championship, beating the organizer in the finals. My husband didn't even make the playoffs. Did I ruin fantasy football for them? Probably.
They won't say it, but probably.
Their passion has probably been
Yeah.
taken out of it.
A little bit. But
But that's one of those things where it's like, that's kind of like gambling where you think you're smart, you think you know it all.
Right.
And then the person that doesn't know shit wins it, and you're like, why do I even care so
they
much?
should, yeah. If they hadn't realized.
So it's not your fault.
Yeah, right. If they hadn't realized already that fantasy football is like 99% luck and totally weird bounces, and like a Najee Harris happens and your whole season gets fucked even if you're the best team. If they hadn't realized that by now, they would have eventually come to that realization. You just helped them along in the path.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad because fantasy football is like so fluky, and that's why I get upset about it, and that's why I don't like talking about it. It's like you play it all year, and then it just one of your best players just has a bad day, or Najee Harris does that. It's stupid.
Also, it's undeniable that Harrison Butker is the second most attractive player in the NFL.
Yes.
I like how they threw that one in there.
Maybe just name? I
mean,
don't know.
Look at him. No, she said I think he was the second overall pick for her.
He's a good-looking guy.
Pretty babes.
Pretty good. Total babe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's, no running back strategy, hot guy strategy.
Yeah.
Could be something there.
Are hot dudes better at football?
Probably not.
Aaron Rodgers is
Not
kind of
hot.
ugly.
Yeah.
You think he's ugly?
He's mad
His-
ugly.
his
Also,
mind
someone
is
tweeted at me
ugly.
this the other day. If Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, does that reverse the long hair curse?
Yeah. I think it probably does.
Sure, I don't
It
even
was-
want to think about this.
It's not even really a long hair curse. It's just a fact that long hair quarterbacks have never won a Super Bowl.
Right, so I'm saying this would...
It's not a curse. It's just a demonstrable fact. It's a law of the universe.
Besides Kenny Stabler. I think we found that one.
He was shaggy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, last one. Happy New Year, Big Cat, PFT, Billy, and Hank. No Jake, no Bubba. My boyfriend and I...
She probably knew that Jake zoned out.
Yeah, true. My boyfriend and I have been dating about a year and lived together. The other night, he was moaning so loud in his sleep, so I rolled over and found out he had a raging boner. I woke him up to find out what his sex dream was all about, only to find out he was going to battle with the Spartans. Should I be concerned or slightly turned on?
It's a fear boner?
Yeah, I want Billy to answer this.
Yeah,
As
go ahead,
somebody
Billy.
who's experienced in war mode.
So there is an idea that there's a cycle when dudes sleep where their testosterone spikes.
I think that's everyone.
Which causes like morning wood. So
That's a theory?
No, that's
it's
a
like-
fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But like, so he could have been cycling through like high T in his sleep, and he was going to fight with the Spartans, and there's a couple side effects from that.
Is the morning wood, is that a byproduct of T cycling, or is that blood? Just like blood goes to one part of your body.
No, yeah. I think
Symbiotic.
that's different. I think it's the first hour of your sleep is something happens. I'm pretty sure.
REM.
No, it's like, I can't remember what I don't know if it's testosterone, because I think it happens with women too. Like something. No, I don't know. Either way, we're not scientists. We're not doctors. Don't sue us. Boners spike. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's exactly. I'm actually looking right now. It's the medical term.
It is crazy to think that every dude gets morning wood. Like the Pope, he wakes up with a boner. Just crazy to think about. Something to smoke on for a while.
Thinking about other guys' boners.
Yeah, well, just every guy's, not every guy's boner.
Some dudes don't wake up with boners.
Some guys don't wake up.
That's
R.I.P.
true.
Shout out those homies.
John Madden.
R.I.P.
He didn't wake up. Sad.
Do you know that cadavers have boners?
What?
Yeah.
What's a cadaver?
It's a dead body.
Ask med school students.
All right, we'll see everyone on Friday. Oh, numbers.
What?
Ask
92
bioscientists.
22.
88.
Disqualifying myself. Don't deserve to take a number
22.
today.
Wow.
All right, then I'm taking 18. I'm
All
taking
class,
18. I'm taking
man.
18. I'm taking 18.
32.
Oh, 18 would have been.
That was so classy of you, Jake. Oh, my God.
Hashtag thank you, Jake.
Verbal meme, Derek Jeter's little nephew.
I'll be back on Friday.
That was incredible.
Dust mites are everywhere.
Love you guys.
Say after me. I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway. Today's another day to find you shying away. I'll be coming for your love, okay? Take on me. Take me.
Fantastic.